Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Director Watch, an AwardsWatch podcast that attempts to get inside the mind of cinema's greatest auteurs, explore what drives them. Maybe we go on a few unrelated tangents along the way. I'm Ryan McQuade, the executive editor here at AwardsWatch, and joining me as always is my precious, my co-host, Jay Ledbetter.
It's me. It's your Jay.
Oh no, not your
Don't
Jay.
you know your Jay?
Yes, Jay, I know who you are.
That one felt bad.
Yeah, that one
coming out.
Nah.
We're talking Two Towers.
We're talking Two Towers. Way to awkwardly start this episode, you madman.
I mean, dude, that was the thing when the movie came out. It was like, this is such an honest, sincere bro relationship that everybody was like, why don't they kiss already? What a stupid era we were
I think
in.
it's even worse when we get to next one when we talk about Return of the King, because like when you watch that,
yeah, then they're like carrying each other.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, well, I don't want to get into it, but yeah, but every moment there's a moment.
But it was it was a very
Sam's very
insecure era in American masculinity.
Listen, Sam's very emotional, and he's got to tell Frodo,
sweet man,
at least once or twice, I'm your guy. And you know what, Jay? You've done this 8 years. You never tell me that. We're a lot closer than Frodo and Sam. You know,
I need to start calling you Mr. Ryan.
And I will never call you J Wise Gamgee. Now that just doesn't sound right at all, because wise with you is just not the right word to put together. Jay,
yeah.
We're still on the path.
Jay, dumb idiot. How about that?
We're still on the path to Mordor to put the ring in the fire, and so
you got to put a little more sauce on Mordor. Mordor.
Thank you. Wow, he's really getting nerdy on this episode. I'm telling you,
that's how they all pronounce it.
I know,
Mordor,
the fires of Mordor. But in Two Towers, we meet a new character that we've mostly seen in shadow. So it's only right that out of the shadows of her new apartment, in a different location in New York,
it's the Smeagol of AwardsWatch.
It's a Smeagol of AwardsWatch.
Oh my God.
Or Gollum, however she wants to be called today.
That's true.
It's our great friend, Sophia Ciminello. Welcome back, our associate editor of AwardsWatch to Director Watch.
Hi, guys. I mean, Smeagol, I was really going to go with Gandalf, leading you to.
Oh, that's fair.
Well, this is actually.
You don't get into mischief.
This is actually a huge question, as we established this on the last episode with Cody. Who's your guy? Is it Gandalf?
Gandalf is my guy.
Gandalf is your guy.
That was
Gandalf
Cody's.
Is my guy.
Cody's, right?
Cody's, and you, Ryan,
Gandalf.
you're a Sam. Is that who you went with?
I think Sam's so important to all this. I know we were joking about Sam, but Sam's like Sam's the heart of all this. Like, otherwise, this is just what's that one Warfare or Warcraft? That's what this thing is. It's the Duncan Jones thing. If you don't have some characters with heart, you're just gobbledygook on the screen. Like all the action.
What's so cool about Warcraft is how practical it is. Like it feels so tangible.
What happened to Duncan Jones? What happened to that guy?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, man.
He got that David Bowie money, and he was like, I'm good.
I don't need to carry
what was
on.
Was Warcraft his last movie?
I think so. Well, no, he made something. Didn't he make something on like Netflix? I feel like
it's the
first rabbit hole with Sophia already. We're right down this road.
I'm trying. I said I was going to keep you on track, but
that's not going to happen.
I'm
you
failing.
damn well know that.
Yeah, he did Mute.
Yeah, remember Mute? Sophia, did you ever see Mute?
I did not see Mute.
Oh, okay.
Off to a strong start.
Top of the watch list.
Hot cast though.
Yeah.
Bunch of hotties.
Yeah, say it, Jay.
Rudd, Skarsgård, Thoreau, Rockwell.
Yeah. Anybody else?
That is a hot cast.
It's a hot cast.
Oh, is this that Netflix?
Sci-fi.
Yeah, it's where Skarsgård is Mute.
I did not see it.
He's the titular Mute.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's actually.
I saw that.
Sophia bringing up Gandalf right up at the top. That's how we are introduced to the Two Towers.
Are you more gray or white?
Well,
I mean, I would say I wear gray all the time.
Yes.
But really, I probably dress like a ring wraith in reality.
Yeah. Okay. So you're more of a Saruman.
Yeah.
Internally.
Holy shit. That's as Sophia's friend, I can testify that's very true. That's very true.
But to counteract it, as we speak right now,
I am wearing white.
She's wearing white.
Yeah.
For the new Gandalf.
She's come back to the show at the turn of the tide.
Yeah.
But
after my week-long fight through the bowels of the earth, I have emerged again.
God, that sequence. I know Sophia will get into your thoughts here in a second, but my God, just an incredible way to start this movie too.
One of the great openings.
I mean, like,
it rules so
him
hard.
just like swooping down and grabbing that sword. Fucking baller ass move to start that whole movie. You're like, imagine though, neither one of you
imagine fighting the Balrog. Can't do it.
Can't imagine it.
But
the two of you
I flop hard.
Only in the mind of Tolkien.
I know that. Sophia, did you see this in theaters? Did you?
I did.
Okay.
I did see it in theaters.
Do you remember when you first saw that after a year of anticipation of seeing this and like this is how this movie starts?
Yeah.
On such a baller move?
Well, because so Gandalf has always been my favorite, and I hadn't read the books. My dad read us The Hobbit when we were little, but I hadn't read the books, so I fully thought Gandalf had died.
No, for real, same. Most people were like that.
I was like, oh my God,
that version of Gandalf had died.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. You're right.
That's true. Really, the Gandalf that we know
character isn't coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I was so like adamant that year. It's one of the first years I really remember getting into the Oscars. Was like, this is why Ian McKellen has to win. He fucking died in that movie. Like, what are we doing? And then
he's never going to get another shot.
He's never going to get another shot at this character ever again. And then 10 months later, I saw the movie and I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, he's back. Okay. But it's different. And that's what's kind of cool about him. We'll talk about it.
And he was an unlockable character in the Lord of the Rings Two Towers PlayStation 2 game.
Yes. Yeah. Sophia, did you ever play that?
No, I did not.
Do you want some J lore?
Here we go. We're going to get it anyway.
Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers PlayStation 2 game, hugely important to me. Played it on repeat at, drumroll please, Bandcamp.
I knew. Oh my God!
Wow.
Not Bandcamp.
I played trumpet for 6 months.
Oh, is that what they call it? All right.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't quite an American Pie experience.
American Pie 2 to be exact.
It was more Hot American Summer.
It was more like.
So did he make out with Bradley Cooper?
The most boring thing ever.
Were you the?
We just played Lord of the Rings on PlayStation the whole time. God. Some guy brought his PlayStation from home.
Oh my God!
We just speed ran that was your the campaign.
You didn't play Return of the King?
Two Towers? I don't think so.
Return of the King actually starts off that video game. I remember that distinctly. That video game starts off with the Battle of Helm's Deep, and you can be Gandalf. You don't have to unlock it.
I was going to ask you this. This is a very nerdy question, I suppose.
You're on a Lord of the Rings show here.
I'm going to regret asking this.
I'm not associating with the nerds.
But in the video game, was the Battle of Helm's Deep annoying? Because, I mean, you can't really stop what's coming. It's just...
It's a freaking onslaught.
You know?
Those games were... I don't remember if you remember,
Well, that's kind of what... Yeah, that's kind of what the game was like... Here comes a horde. You have to hold off the horde.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is,
it was fun.
At that point, the way that games were set up, the technology at the time, I was like, yeah, what's better than this? And then when you beat the game, you got Gandalf.
Yeah.
And then Gandalf was like a cheat code, and it was like, it's just fun to play with Gandalf.
Because you could just like obliterate all these guys left and right in this game. Yeah. It was the ultimate
Instead of having to chop down one guy at a time, you could just push away 50.
Yeah, you use your staff and it's over, folks.
I am excited to talk about that when we get to Helm's Deep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Gandalf is sort of the captain, a little bit of the Captain Marvel issue.
Yeah.
Where in Avengers, it's like, Captain Marvel, why won't you help us? Because if I helped you, it would be boring. Gotta go. We wrote ourselves into a hole here. All right. I've got to write off for 2.5 hours of movie now. I'll be back. Exactly when you need me. Because I'm Brie Larson. I've got a lot of other interesting stuff to do.
I'll be in the next Fast and Furious movie. You know what I mean?
We love her.
Yeah. Emmy nominee Oscar winner, Brie
Ryan
Larson.
loves her Oscar win.
No, I don't. I think it's a shit
Oh,
win.
sorry.
I
It's a
really
good
do.
win.
It's one of those. I wish we didn't have it kind of things.
Tremblay though.
Oh God, God. You know what? So this is true
Flounder. He
on
played Flounder.
the main show when we did the 2015 retrospective episode.
Flounder. Oh my God.
It took me 2 days, and I texted Sophia. I was like, "Wow, we really nominated Jacob Tremblay, didn't we?" It right, Sophia? It wasn't like a delayed.
No, it's true, but I'm right now having a delayed reaction to Jay reminding me that he voiced Flounder in the new Little Mermaid.
Jay, which
He's a
character?
good choice for Flounder.
Jay, which character in Lord of the Rings would do a great scuttlebutt?
There's no such thing as a good scuttlebutt.
Well,
Fun fact, anyone that in the new
It's Andy
governmental
Serkis.
regime right now, anyone who reenacts scuttlebutt gets sent to Venezuela.
oh my God, Jay,
It's unfortunate. I mean, look, I don't abide by it, but it's just like the reality of what's going on right now.
shame on you. Shame on you. Anyway,
Shame on our
shame
government.
on our government, yes, but shame on you for going
No, I'm
there.
not a fan of scuttlebutt, but I think that's overkill.
Yeah. We're really starting off at a chaotic pace. Sophia, before we get into your thoughts on Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, I have to ask you about Peter Jackson. I have to ask you about him as a filmmaker and also your relationship with him as a filmmaker, lack thereof, maybe, who knows?
Mhm.
And your relationship with Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
and where that is, where it was and potentially where it is now. I know where it is,
Were
but
you
the
like
listeners
cool in
don't.
high school, or
Yeah,
were you a nerd?
were you like still dressing like Lydia Tarr back then? You know,
I've always dressed like Lydia Tarr. It was worse when I had to wear a school uniform.
she had a
I was
turtleneck.
really dressing like Lydia Tarr.
Yeah, everyone was like, "Oh, I'm so tired of these uniforms." And Sophia's like, "I don't know, I kind of like them."
I'm like, I don't know, I like a blazer. Sorry.
Oh, where did you go to? Well, your school had blazers and
Anyway,
yeah,
my
yeah.
relationship to Peter Jackson. I mean, I really didn't have too much of a relationship with him. I would say, he's not one of my go-to filmmakers or someone I would cite as, one of my favorite directors. I think my relationship with him is that I really think of him as someone who makes these large scale movies like Lord of the Rings, like King Kong, which I know you guys will talk about soon. I saw that in theaters as well. But really, for him, it's Lord of the Rings. And as a sincere, sensitive person, I feel like I really understand him when I watch his movies. I feel like that is why the Lord of the Rings movies work for me. It's funny because, they were always around growing up, and I saw them in theaters when they came out. And I remember the huge phenomenon, but they were just not really, I liked them, but I didn't love them in the same way that a lot of people did. I wasn't obsessed with them. I don't remember, talking about them all the time or
Yeah,
feeling
you were
the
too
need
busy
to
like going to
rewatch
parties
them.
and having fun.
Yes. But, I wouldn't consider myself to be, a big Lord of the Rings fan growing up. I think in the way that a lot of people from our generation were. I was definitely into film at the time, but I wouldn't call these favorites of my childhood, which is probably, funny that I'm on for one of these episodes. But I decided, I think that I was going to try them again as an adult and just see, what it would be like to watch them now. I also now really want to read the books. That's probably going to be my next journey with Lord of the Rings, but I decided last winter
An unexpected
to
journey, one might say.
truly, right?
That a boy,
Just
Jay.
like a
That a
hobbit.
boy.
I decided last winter to try again, and I went to see all of the Lord of the Rings movies. They were playing the extended editions in theaters at my Alamo Draft House, and they were doing one a week in January. So one Saturday, I would do Fellowship of the Ring, then the next one, The Two Towers, so on to The Return of the King. And it was just such a delight. I had such a good time just sitting there taking this world in, and I think just really appreciating what Peter Jackson was doing, his command of the story. And I think how these to me, now that I had this different, I think, language to understand film and had watched more and had really grown up a lot, I think what it was really was that, I had seen two types of blockbusters really in my adulthood. One type I would equate to just studio drivel that just seems, like there aren't any stakes at all. I don't like any of the characters. The story doesn't do anything for me. And then the other type feels, I think, very important, but I don't really connect with any of the characters whatsoever. And we talked a little bit about this when we did our Dune Part 2 episode and why I had a hard time, I think, finding my way into those films. I love the world building. I love the look of it. I thought, parts of it were beautiful, but I just didn't feel anything when it came to those characters. And watching Lord of the Rings, if a character dies or if something happens to them, if they're in peril, I feel so emotionally connected to them and to their journey. And I think that's so much of that is because of Peter Jackson's sensibilities as a storyteller. And so all of this to say, when I was watching them again, it had been many years really since I had done that. The Two Towers was the one that really stood out to me as my favorite in the trilogy. And we'll get into a lot of the reasons why, but in watching it again and watching the extended edition, this is going to be a nerd fact that I think makes Ryan very happy. I thought, I don't think I'll ever watch the theatrical cut again. I think extended or bust.
I have takes
yes. On this. You can wait on your hot take.
I want an in between.
Okay. All right. Okay. You'll get your in between in a minute.
It's one of those things though where I just feel like I don't even know anymore what I would get rid of or cut because all the details I think just feel so important to the relationships. And what I love about the Two Towers is that I think if you look at Fellowship of the Ring, it's very much about elves and hobbits and this collective fellowship, this collective journey. And when you get into Two Towers, there's so much detail. There's so much, there's so many political themes, and it's looking at, all of the machinations of, what, makes everything work, why decisions are made, and the fact that history is being forgotten, even for them, I think just feels so timely, and it's so relevant. And I think it's why people research and study Tolkien and his themes still to this day. And I just feel like I could watch this again in 2 weeks and get something new out of it that I missed this time. So yeah, I really love these movies, and I'm so happy that I tried again.
Yeah, that was again. It didn't take 8 years because I haven't known Sophia for 8 years, but it was one of those when we were hanging out a couple years ago. I was like, you really should watch them. They're the type of movies that are gonna be up y'all's alley because they're unlike blockbusters that we have
that she shoved you in a locker.
Yeah, she said, "Shut up, nerd. Give me your lunch money." And then she watched them, and then that was all. That was all she wrote. Oh, that's interesting. Would Sophia have talked to me in high school? That's an interesting. That's a good question, Jay. That's a very good question. Probably not. She barely does now. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
That's true.
It's very true. That's all performative. It's all for
Ryan
the mics.
Is sort of like the goth in the corner of.
I was never goth. I was no.
But I think now you sort of represent like the reclusive.
Yeah.
Antisocial.
I still really connect with Donnie Darko. That's like my vibe.
Yeah. You know what? That's weirdly a movie I've wanted to rewatch recently.
Yeah, me too.
Donnie Darko.
I don't know why. Because it's a relic of our era, or like
pre-era era. Is this just absolute garbage?
Will anybody that's younger than us ever
I haven't watched it in a really long time.
Yeah, I don't think I've watched that one since high school.
Jay, that would be be a cool little series.
Richard Kelly would be a nice, clean type series.
3 weeks of just out there fucking movies. I'll tell you that. But no, as much as Sophia went on that journey every Saturday, getting the text afterwards after the 4-hour screenings, because I was doing the
Which
same
you never would have gotten in high school.
Because nope, never would have. No, that's for sure. I went and saw the films at the same time as her, and I was just like, it was just my yearly watch. Usually when they go up on the big screen is when I usually do my yearly watch. Now this year, my yearly watch is for this podcast. It's the least I could do. But Jay, I'll let you have it, Jay. What's your middle ground on the extended? Because you're watching both. As we established, you're going to watch both the original.
Oh, you're doing both.
He's doing both.
I watch both.
Yeah, he's doing the homework. He's trying to catch up.
I put in the work. I like to overburden myself.
Yeah, because we all know Jay does prep for the show, but for this series, he's literally watching a movie twice in different.
I get to watch the
lengths.
3-hour version and then the 4-hour version.
Exactly. Just
I get to
really
watch
hammer
like
it home.
a season of The Pit for every movie.
What's your argument? Because Cody did also say on Fellowship that the most necessary extended edition is the Two Towers extended edition.
I think this extended edition is far more essential than the Fellowship extended edition. Specifically for, I think, the Faramir arc and Boromir, retroactively. And then additionally, there are some other scenes. I love that scene at the end where Pippin and Merry find the food. Just delightful.
Just a little Cheech and Chong moment between the two of them.
So good. And there are a couple others. And then there are also some where it's like, come on. Like, this is just, you don't need it. I mean, but also I understand it because these are cozy movies. It's like when we talked about Tree of Life and the discussion became, what do you think of the extended cut of the Tree of Life? And I'm like, I mean, it's more Tree of Life. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just more of the thing that you like. So I understand it. But
I think for me, I'm just so far detached from, because when I watched Fellowship for the show, I watched both versions. I did not watch both versions for this because I was just like, no, the Two Towers extended is the film.
I think there's a solid argument that Fellowship is the theatrical version is the better version of Fellowship. I do think Two Towers, the better version of the movie, even if I would not have included everything in the extended cut, I think the better version is the extended. I
also feel like to just get into it, the extended sort of time, and it really is like a reset. Like this film is it's weirdly a middle chapter. It's it's the battle before the war, right? Which we know is going to be Return of the King.
Pretty weird that it's the middle chapter, considering it's the second of 3 movies.
Exactly.
Weirdly the middle chapter.
Fuck you. But it feels like a reset. It really does, because the first film, if they, let's say they did a dumb Denis Villeneuve of only getting one film
Shots fired.
Because he was an idiot, only getting a deal done for one fucking Dune movie when he's literally splitting it into 2. That was a dumb move. And then I did
laugh though when Gandalf and Chani have really similar lines at the end of Dune Part 1 and then of Two Towers. I'm like, it's just the beginning.
It's just the beginning. Yeah. When Gandalf came in to save everybody in Helm's Deep on a sandworm, pretty cool. But anyway, but no, it feels like for weirdly the beginning of it, while cool, if nobody saw Fellowship, they could just come right into this movie and nothing would have really affected them. The whole first one literally is
sort
of. But weirdly, that movie is all about the Fellowship and the forming of it and the breaking.
I think the
apart.
simplicity of that movie is what makes it so perfect.
Yeah. And that if you wanted to, it's like, okay, well then Sam and Frodo are going to go do their thing. And like that's, and you hope and pray that if we get the next movie next year, then they're going to get there. But this movie ties back to that. If you want to say like the whole 3 movies are one movie thing, the intermission, right, is in between. And it reminds you, and then you go right back into the whole Belrock thing, but then it leads into Sam and Frodo, and like the first 20 minutes of this movie are trying to find their way, and introducing, though, maybe the most memorable character in the entire trilogy.
Kind of the soul. My take, if I have a take on this movie, it's that the soul of Two Towers, it's two things. It's the Ents and it's Gollum.
Yeah.
Those to me are kind of the
Well, Jay, I actually got to ask you
of the emotion of
about
the
that's one of the more controversial things about this movie is the Ents.
The Ents rock.
You love Ents, pro Ents.
I love the Ents.
I love the Ents, and I love all of the extra scenes with the Ents in the extended version.
You guys are going to make me cry on this podcast. This is wonderful
because that's just texture to this world. It's so good.
And I think in another film, it would bug me if we were cutting from something as intense as the Battle of Helm's Deep to the Ents. And it's just this complete change of pace. But here I like it that how it settles into that preparation for what's to come with the Ents and Merry and Pippin, I think finding, they're growing and evolving too. And they've changed so much, I think, from Fellowship and as characters, and they're going to continue to change. But it's that part of the movie. It's so funny because when I was watching it this time, I thought, no wonder I like this. It's like if Peter Jackson made a Kelly Reichardt movie. It's just these characters in nature just living their, it's like it feels very everyday. It feels different from, I think, the high intensity of the other aspects of the movie, which is why I like all those extra scenes with them too.
Well, what's so wonderful about all three sections is that when you were kind of saying it, Sophia, but like one section isn't meeting the height of what it's going to be, while another section is at the low point and hasn't gotten there yet. Like it's perfect narrative structure of just like, we're all going to start them here and they're all going to get up to this certain point, and then we're all going to cool off right down here at the end to set up then the next film. And it's completely different of a structure than the first film, which is all the characters. There's no intercutting of different stories. It's one story. We're all kind of cutting through that. Like Jay said, the simplicity of all that works.
And that's what I love so much about it.
And this is a little bit of a harder trick to pull off. And it is also the trick that then they have to do throughout the rest of the series or the rest of the films here. And yet, while you could start intercutting through all these, every single story has something fascinating, yet structurally they're all tied to one another. They're all tied to Frodo's journey in one way or another. And they're tied, even like the Ents are tied from Saruman and Isengard to then the orcs and how they are bred from the Ents themselves. And then they're used from these creatures of wisdom and knowledge for weapons of mass destruction and death across our lands. And where does that leave humanity? Where does that leave hope? And then I think Gandalf coming back in this and the idea of, the sort of more of the religious connotations that are in this film with the reincarnation much more spiritual. And the idea of there is a good version inside of us. And if we're not tapping into that and being the best of ourselves, then others will come along to rectify that. That's a very hopeful idea because that's exactly what Gandalf has to do. The idea of I am Saruman, or as at least Saruman, what he should have been, that whole idea always just blows my mind of like, the fuck are you talking about? Like that guy, that Christopher Lee's already he's in the other town. And and I love, this is a shout out to my wife, Megan. When we were watching it, she goes, I love that detail. And I never hear her say that about a movie ever. And I go, which detail? And I go, using his voice disguised as Saruman in the forest when Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli find him there. And it's slowly fading in the reveal of Gandalf there. And that was my name. That's what they used to call me. But now I've come in this new body with the same memories, but with a different task. And it's just, it's really fucking good. And we haven't even gotten also to the best new characters outside of Gollum, and the Ents, which are, I think, Sophia, your favorite group of people in all of
Hmm.
this, right? Which
Yeah.
are which is
I
Rohan.
yeah, I love Rohan. I think
Carl
the
Urban in a terrible wig.
Oh my God. And well, I think I what I like about Rohan too is this is so when I was watching this movie again, um, when I saw it in theaters again, I just instantly just completely went into this world. I thought, okay, this is just it's so interesting, I think, and different from the Hobbits, and it feels very, I don't know, this like medieval feeling of the politics a bit and of that world. That's just complete catnip to me. I love that. I love that we get into the history of man in Tolkien's world and the way that he defines men. And we have, I mean, we have different versions of that. Obviously, like we have the Rangers of the North and we have Gondor, and Rohan, of course. But I think that what I like about Rohan is that yes, I think Fellowship feels like a cleaner story in the way that it's told. For its simplicity. But here, I think what you're seeing when you're looking at, what's happening really with these characters and with this king who has been completely corrupted by Saruman and just then has to basically have an exorcism, which I love. But
That scene rules.
the fact that, I think this happens, it's still happening in politics today all over the world, but it was especially happening then with royalty that people in leadership positions couldn't make decisions, and there were other people who were behind the scenes orchestrating all of those political moves and who are, making it really hard for their children, making it really difficult for the other people that are involved. And I think that what's really cool about that too is that the themes that are happening, with the men and at in Rohan is that those are themes that we're seeing elsewhere, I think, too, with the hobbits and with the elves, but we're seeing why that connection was lost with the other groups, right? Of why the elves will end up joining them again, but why that was lost in the first place and how fragile everything is. And again, like I said at the beginning of it, the sense in the movie really that everything they've just forgotten so much. They've forgotten their history. They've forgotten what's happened to them throughout time and how important that is. Whereas I think that with the elves, they feel that I think there's this like sense of intensity in remembrance and in a long life, and that isn't really happening here. And I think that's just it's really interesting. So yeah, I really like this section and could keep talking about it.
Well,
Sort of why Meghan Markle wanted to move to Canada.
God damn it. Well, no, I mean, to your point, Sophia,
You're gonna skip over
I'm
them.
going to skip over you because
Okay,
I'm
fine.
done
All
with you
right,
already today.
that's fine.
Because I want to get this point is that Rohan is so important to this entire story because it's not just about everything you just said and the vulnerability that then Saruman sees by putting this spell over Theoden. It's the repercussions of Gondor's laziness and lack thereof
Hmm.
protection of the realm. And therefore, that is why the insecurities of the elves exist. That's why they feel that if the ring does get back in the hands of Sauron, then this whole thing is super vulnerable and that the age of men are dying and then they cannot pass on this world to people that should be in charge of it because that goes back to Fellowship where when Elrond is talking about Isildur and he had his chance to throw that ring into the fire and he didn't because he saw the greed, and that greed is what we see in Boromir, it's what we see in Faramir, it's what we see in their father, and it's what we see in anyone that's really, has alternative motives of than of pure of heart. And you're right, then you can have these stewards there to, or these facilitators to keep whispering lies and deceit and and insidious thoughts inside of Theoden said to keep the spell going and really rule for Saruman from afar. And I love that Jack White is in this movie. Truly just
I was just
incredible
gonna make a comment about how ugly he is.
he's so great in this movie. Rude. The guy that plays, I gotta look him up real quick.
Grima Wormtongue.
I gotta look him up real quick, but he is one of the slimiest looking characters I think I've ever seen in a movie.
It's Brad Dourif.
Is it really?
Yeah.
No way. Jesus.
Right?
It is. It is. She's right.
Wow.
I'll tell you one thing I love about
that's crazy.
The Rohan stuff is
Daughters in the Pit.
I think a lot of people would kind of chalk it up to like what inconsistent direction that Peter Jackson wouldn't insist on the pronunciation of Rohan, but everybody in the movie pronounces Rohan differently. It's like Rohan, and they do the same thing with some characters' names. I think it's so good because it speaks the dialects of these different kingdoms. I think it's so kind of true to what, language is like. I love that really small detail, but I love that element of it. And, I'll maybe stray away from what I said about Meghan Markle and talk about the movie itself.
That's good. That's a good idea. It's a good idea for you maybe to keep on topic today.
The Rohan stuff is great. The Tolkien's whole conceit of humanity, of man, is I think one of the most compelling elements of the series in general. And certainly when you get to this idea of not only man, but also these two, not necessarily competing kingdoms, but kingdoms that exist within the same realm. When you go to Gondor and Rohan, I think them kind of existing within their own bubbles and also desiring the ring for their own purposes that go beyond the realm in which they exist, I think is a really compelling theme of the film as well. I mean, they're no less obsessed with the ring in certain ways than Gollum is, and they want it for equally selfish reasons. This is the opioid of the human realm, and I think that's very, very interesting. And certainly when they retreat to Helm's Deep and start getting really on the defensive, as opposed to being like, we want to, be this kind of forward, we want to be on the offensive and trying to capture the ring and gaining more power. I think it gives them this sense of humility that man in the series so far has not really been willing to give into. And I think that's an incredibly, it's a great part of the story.
Well, it's also in their history, knowing the history of Rohan, to just, if things go bad, they can default to Helm's Deep because it is a fortress that has
like the impenetrable fortress.
Exactly.
Except it has the Death Star thing where it's like, there's one thing,
but there's one thing
you can do to it, and
they're
it's
like,
not that hard.
But even that's like, oh, Saruman, I've thought of everything.
Theirs is right at the front.
It's theirs is it's pretty bad. It's a pretty poor location.
No one's they've lived there for like thousands of years. No one's been like, that hole there, we gonna fix that. You know what I mean? Like we gonna get that out of there? No, we're gonna not. We're gonna mess with that.
The drainage is a real issue.
Do we think though? Like, but honestly,
as Daniel Plainview says,
but also, but honestly, even if they had these bombs, and they had
the magic bombs,
and literally a guy running like he's running the Olympics for suicide to kill.
Very silly. It's a very silly scene.
It's a very silly thing.
That's the thing about this movie. It's sillier than the first
it's a little
one,
sillier
without trying to be silly.
You have these big ideas. You have these big, like, important ideas. I mean, like, even
the skateboarding Legolas. I mean,
then you have skateboarding
I was going to tell you,
Legolas.
Jay. Now you get it, because like when we were all growing up,
I'm anti skateboarding Legolas.
No, that's what everybody loved. We were all like, "Oh fuck, that's so cool! That's so cool!"
I know. We were talking about this with Cody. Everybody was. I was like, no, Legolas not really my guy. He's kind of whatever. And they were like, you don't understand. Legolas was
he was the guy. Orlando Bloom.
Yeah. And I'm like,
was the guy that came out of this.
Like, what are we talking about?
He came out of Lord of the Rings, and everyone said
very little to do in this.
And they said that's going to be the guy that is the one that breaks out of all of this, and that's how he gets Pirates, and that's how he gets Kingdom of Heaven, and that's how he gets Katy Perry. And aren't we lucky for that? You know,
she went to world, and we're lucky to be.
She went to space. You know. Fucking waste all that money.
30 minutes
on the space thing. Jay, what'd you think of them going to space?
No. Oh my God. I mean, truly one of the most embarrassing things that has happened in like a long time. Every now and then you will see something so
stupid,
devoid of self-awareness, so oblivious that it really reminds you of the poison of celebrity.
Yeah.
And I think that is what that entire enterprise was, from Bezos down. It was just, imagine the just worst people imaginable convincing themselves that they're doing something that is quote unquote important for humanity, or some sort of feminist achievement where they're taking selfies while hovering slightly above the atmosphere. It's unreal. It's one of the most embarrassing things that's happened recently.
Sophia, you go. I got a thought after you.
No, he said what I was going to say perfectly, really. I think it's just like, once you realize that celebrities are just not real people, their actions sometimes become easier to understand. But then something like this happens, and I just don't have the words for it, really.
The number one person I thought about when this was happening was Oprah Winfrey, because you got to think that Oprah was selling
just because of Gail.
Yeah, because you got to think Gail has helped her out a lot in her life through all of her struggles and everything, bad decisions, good decisions, whatnot. You would think Oprah would have called and said, "Are you fucking stupid? Do you know how dumb this looks?" Like, Oprah's all about image.
Like Gail,
this is a image killer. Like, I thought Gail was like trustworthy. No, can't do that anymore. If of all the people there that I thought, oh, there's an adult, I think they used Gail a little bit to like justify it, because she's like a trusted news person. But now I've lost all respect for her. I've lost respect for everybody. Like, and then she's like, "Yeah, Katie's saying up there,"
haven't
and
lost
everything.
Respect for anyone. It just really is indicative of just these people are worm brained. They're lost.
Just like we could have fixed so much with that money.
The pandemic made so much worse. So many things like this just worse.
Yeah, because it's like,
to a certain extent, I'm just like, what?
This is what you wanted to do.
This happened to you.
Like, we got the vaccine and masks, and we got past that point. So you can take a selfie in space.
I know what you're going to say, and I disagree with you. I don't think it was the vaccine. I know you think that, but I disagree with you.
Calm down, Theo Von. It's fine. All right, we're gonna be okay. Heard he's getting sued too. Everybody's getting sued.
The R in RFK stands for Ryan.
Anyway, yeah, he was the big deal coming out of these movies, buddy.
Back to Orlando Bloom.
Sophia, Orlando Bloom at this time.
Oh,
important person.
I mean, important person. He was everything at this time. I wasn't as into Legolas. I was more of an Aragorn girl at the time when I saw it.
I'm an Aragorn boy.
That tracks for both of you. Yeah. Viggo's just so good. I was
more into he is. I mean, like, if I were Eowyn too, I'd be like, I'm obsessed with you. You've been here for 2 minutes.
Eowyn absolutely done dirty in this movie, by the way.
Gotta say this. I put it on Letterboxd. But I got to say this on the show. This is the perfect time to bring it up. I love soup. Okay? This movie, people are making soup.
Potatoes.
Sam gets dragged by Gollum, but the one that gets, like, clearly dragged by making a soup is Erwin. She like straight up makes this soup, and to her credit,
It
looks
really
terrible.
bad though.
I asked Megan, and I want to ask you guys.
I think the rabbit stew looks pretty good. I gotta
What
say.
is the thing that the white thing that he eats? Because I gave her the benefit of the doubt, and I said, I think it's some sort of fish. Megan said, that looks like fat.
Yeah,
Like
I
a
thought
lump
it looked
of
like
fat.
some sort of lard or like fat.
Yeah, like
that was just
uncooked
like
fat.
Some grizzle.
A bad type of dumpling.
Yeah, like just dough with nothing inside.
But fat instead.
Yeah, fat doughy dumpling. Yeah.
Yeah, chicken and fat.
Chicken and fat. Yeah, but it looks so like see-through. It looked like water.
It does look. It's really like
maybe it was actually like a really exquisite. Maybe it was a bone marrow.
Oh,
it looks so gross though. Like I don't.
Where y'all at on bone marrow?
Shout out to Gimli though. By the way, before I answer your question, Jay, shout out to Gimli being like, "No, it's okay. I'm good. I was very nice to you on the way up here. Fuck that. I'm not trying that."
Gimli is such a vibe the whole movie.
When he pours that soup on his hand and that cut back that Jackson acts to Aragorn's face, like, oh fuck. Hopefully she didn't see that. Hopefully it's it's so perfect. It's so funny. Bone marrow. I mean, given the right circumstances, it can be.
I love a good bone marrow.
It can be very good.
If it's at a good a good steakhouse, nice restaurant.
Yeah, you give me a nice bone marrow at a Chili's. Oh man,
the triple dipper.
Jay, what's your go-to at Chili's?
Man, I have not been into a Chili's. I think I last watched Lord of the Rings more recently than I've been to a Chili's.
They're coming back, like for real.
Are they cool again?
Like Chili's is back, Old Navy's back.
Old Navy is definitely back.
Yeah, no,
is back.
I'm like, what?
Tell you what's like,
what fucking year is this?
Back. Abercrombie's
big time back.
I wear more Abercrombie now than I did in high school. It is back.
And that's when she wouldn't talk to either one of us.
I wouldn't have talked to her either.
Yeah, I would. You know what? Sophia would have had that energy of like, look at those two idiots over there. And to be fair, she still says that now. And we're all friends.
No, Sophia was both too cool to hang out with the nerds, but also like too smart and classy to talk to the jocks. So she was sort of like in her own little sphere.
She talked to the jocks. She straight up
jocking it up.
Sophia, did you talk to the jocks? Somebody's got
a varsity jacket.
Come on. Yeah, Sophia's you got that varsity jacket back there.
It's moth to a flame.
Oh my God. It is moth to a flame, but why are we talking so much about me in high school?
Well, because in high school, everybody was talking about Lord of the Rings. You know
That's true.
That's true. Except me.
Except you, Jay. Well,
I was giving people noogies.
Yeah. Jay was probably Jay, were you mean in high school? Were you like a bully?
No, not at all. I was super affable.
Were you very popular?
No, I was just kind of like.
You just play sports?
Yeah, I played baseball.
Okay. Yeah, he does seem like a baseball guy.
I was like,
I actually pegged you more as a basketball guy.
My basketball team was unbelievable. Like we had three D1 players.
I thought he would have been like the white point guard, Sophia.
It was absurd.
That comes off the bench.
Look, I can shoot.
Point guard.
No denying. I can.
Little white chocolate. You know what I mean?
I can go on a heater. I was a pitcher.
Yeah. How fast could you throw?
I got up to the mid 80s.
Can you still do it?
No, I tore my rotator cuff in high school. I'm cooked.
Ooh,
yeah, I'm done.
How fast do you think you could throw a ball now?
Oh my God. I don't know. Might be able to get up to 80.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, now you're just saying you're going to get back to where you were in high school.
No, not even.
No.
So I could throw mid 80s.
Sophia,
you played on our team who could throw 96.
Wow.
Yeah.
What happened to him?
Went to LSU, flamed out, done.
Usually happens when you go to LSU, I guess.
He's a listener.
I was just going to say. It. You didn't.
Sophia, you played volleyball.
I was a volleyball player and a swimmer. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those are my two sports.
She did them at the country club, folks.
We call that. Isn't there a Netflix film called Tall Girl?
What are you talking about?
Those are two tall girl. Those are two tall girl sports.
Oh, is it like
tall girl sports?
Is it like a reality show or is it like
it's like a
real
film. Yeah, narrative film.
I played football. That's all I did. And then
I played football.
I tore my ACL, and
I played football when I was a freshman. I was a quarterback, and I was lower on the depth chart than I should have been. And my dad gave me the worst advice he's ever given me.
Oh,
because
that I'm Mr. Ledbetter.
The guy who was ahead of me was his dad was like a real big booster for the program.
Oh, that's never good.
And my dad was like, I think you should go to the coach and tell him that like there's too much politics going on in the program.
You mean like the number one thing that'll get you kicked off the team?
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to him. Thanks, Dad. That's great advice.
And you never did that.
No, I did it, and then I quit that day.
I played football.
That did not go over very well.
I did it for 3 years, and then I tore my ACL and then ligaments in my back, and I stopped because my dad gave me the best advice: know when to walk away from sports while you still can. Because that's
especially important for football.
Yeah, Tua Tagovailoa. Walk away while you still can.
Actually, that was the second worst advice my dad ever gave me. The other advice he said is you don't really know how much you love a girl until you break up with her.
Was this what happened?
So I broke up. I broke up with my wife twice, just to make sure I loved her.
Shout out to Allie, who's literally the champion of that.
Yeah, she really is she lost.
Yeah, she lost. She
could have done so much
better. Sophia, why did you stop?
Dad voice.
Why did you stop? Did you not get a scholarship for volleyball or swimming?
Why did I stop? I went to Ohio State. I'm not good enough to play volleyball at Ohio State.
I don't know.
Short, Sophia.
Yeah, you're selling yourself short. Well,
Well, swimming, I did keep swimming. I did club swimming, but
what was your stroke of choice?
I was an IMer. I did IM.
Oh my God,
IM,
that's
breaststroke and butterfly.
That's like the best swimmer. That's like you're a real swimmer.
Yeah,
I was a real swimmer.
You got the diverse
terrible at backstroke though.
repertoire.
Awful.
They called her the Naiad of Ohio.
Yeah. I was Diana Naiad.
She was her diet consists of lean meats and Diet Coke.
I do remember that at the Ohio State intramural swimming.
There it is.
Throw jellyfish in.
There's the Diet Coke, folks. For any of you out there that are off camera,
this is a. I know it's an audio
podcast,
auditory medium, but
it was right there.
Have a Diet Coke.
Sponsored by Diet Coke.
Sponsored by Diet Coke always. Yeah. I was very involved in like other student activities, though, I would say, when I was in college.
By the time I was in senior year, I was friends with everybody on the football team. I helped with the school musical. I was in debate, and I also helped with the talent show.
Sounds like a real Lord of the Rings fan.
Sounds like a guy that just was nice with everybody. You had a talent
show in high school?
Yeah. Oh, you don't want to know the stories about that.
Ours in middle school were pretty catastrophic.
Actually,
always.
Ours was really bad, but I did one of the most horrible things possible to somebody during the auditions for that. And I will tell everybody that now.
We're really going off the rails here.
No, this is good.
So obviously we had a lot of singers.
As opposed to normally when Sophia's on the show.
Yeah, we're totally on topic. Yeah. We had this, Sophia knows this, Jay knows this. I was a real piece of shit in high school. And during the auditions, there was this girl and she like went up on stage and she had a guitar and I thought, oh, okay, well, she's going to play like acoustic and it's going to be really great and everything. And because we had seen a lot of bands and everybody had like, had done their version of like, because Michael Jackson had died that year. Everybody had done like their version of a Michael Jackson song or John Mayer covers or whatever. Like there was a lot of like variety. And then there was like some original bands that went up there and like screamed and played grunge. And it was really funny to witness the talent committee vote on them. Anyway, this girl walks up there and she was honestly, very sweet girl. Never saw her actually after this day. She probably evaporated.
I wonder why.
So she goes up there and she goes
transfer schools.
You literally hear her go, hit it. And you hear this music and it's Don McLean's.
That's a great start.
Don McLean's American Pie starts playing. And
that's bold.
With the
that's
lyric.
How the Beatles, I Want to Hold Your Hand started. They said.
Yeah, hit it. And she with Don McLean started singing the lyrics to the first verse while like with a guitar in her hand playing like pretend playing the guitar. And she started to forget the words, clearly nervous, and everything. And
big song,
and it's a big song.
If you're
nervous,
yeah, it's a lot of words.
And she sang the abridged. Sang the abridged version. She didn't do the full version, which that we told everybody do your full performance now because we got to fit it in, time wise for this 2-hour show. So she finishes the abridged version, and they're deliberating, and the person next to me, and I was right by the stage, the person next to me asked, well, what'd you think? I went, well, that was the shittiest thing I've seen in a while. And I slid it, and that girl looked right to the right and saw me, and I went, oh shit, I said that out loud. And
that sounds like the girl in Logan Lucky, the little daughter singing Country Roads. Remember that?
Exactly. And she was, I would have told her she was terrible in that too. She's no Mark Strong in Kingsman 2. But anyway, that girl eviscerated. Never saw her again. So
she
didn't make it. By the way,
she walked into Mount Doom.
Yeah, she did.
Evening.
She got freaking thrown in the lava. Is what she did.
That reminds me of the meanest thing I've ever done in my life, which I think about way too regularly. It happened.
Well, I revealed mine, so you got to say it.
Yeah, it happened in 4th grade.
What did you do?
We were in math class, and I was good at math. Not to brag.
Not to brag. You still are, Mr. Spreadsheets.
I had my multiplication tables down.
Yeah.
And so the teacher pointedly asked one specific girl a question. I don't remember exactly what the question was. Let's say it was 8 times 4. And the girl didn't know the answer. And she looked directly at me for me to give her the answer. And I knew the answer, but I purposefully said the wrong number just to be the worst.
I don't think that's that bad.
In front of a class in 4th grade?
I think about it all the time. I think about it all the time.
It's worse than what I did.
She said the wrong number, and he said, no, that's wrong. And she burst into tears.
You imagine this 4th grader.
Yeah. Burst into tears. And I immediately was like,
what's crazy, Jay?
I'm the Joker now.
Is that
we
girl
live in a society?
You grew up in Georgia, right, Jay? In Atlanta?
I sure did.
And so that girl moved to San Antonio and actually picked up the guitar and started playing American Pie. She's actually the same person.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, the story is out there. We were different people, and we apologize to those people at the time in which you should have been just talking about Lord of the Rings and talking
Sophia,
about.
What's the worst thing you ever did?
Yeah, what's the worst thing you ever did?
I was never really that mean. I just
I think the worst thing she's ever done is just she doesn't talk to us now, Jay. I think that's just the worst thing.
Yeah,
I mean, like
true.
That was the thing. Like if I
Talks
didn't
bad
like
behind
someone,
our back.
I just wouldn't really do
this
anything.
This is her last
shoulder.
episode. This is wild. Yeah.
If you didn't have a Letterman's jacket, you were done.
Yeah. It's like, get out of here, you bunch of freaking nerds.
You guys are really, I mean, like the character like who you're saying I was in high school is very interesting. It's like Gossip Girl meets
Regina George.
Girls.
Yeah. But she's not disputing.
Regina George was mean.
Yeah, Jay, she's not disputing.
I was more of a Katie Heron.
You're sort of a Leighton Meester in Gossip Girl.
Wow.
A Blair.
Yeah, sure.
Jay, she's not denying anything that we're saying, by the way. She's just nodding along with a.
All right, can I tell you something I don't love about this movie?
A yes sign in the background? What's that, Jay?
So I do feel like, unlike the first film, I think this does lay some of the groundwork for the undercutting of some of the sincerity that we saw in the first movie with some jokiness, which I don't love.
Which jokes are you talking about that didn't land for you, buddy? Because I'm going to tell you you're wrong.
I think Gimli is too unserious in this movie.
Okay.
I don't love the counting of the murders.
No, come on.
Oh, that's...
Come on.
I think it mostly works, and I actually do like the added scene where he's like, I get credit for this kill, and he's like, that's not true because my axe is already in his skull.
Yeah.
That was funny.
But like it's kind
But
of
in the middle of these very intense action sequences, when they have these little like asides, it's not my favorite.
but it's kind of great
In
for them
this
because
particular movie.
it's the development of these two characters. Because when we first see
Mhm.
them, they want to fucking kill themselves, like each other. Like they want to rip each other's throats off.
Yeah,
Like
but here's the thing: they're in the most intense battle of all time. I do like the throw me moment. That's
oh
good.
yeah,
Oh,
That's good.
Sophia, you have a note on this?
That is good.
I told Ryan that when I watched it, I couldn't help but imagine him tossing Eric like that.
Oh, well, I mean,
Which is crazy because
that wouldn't even be a challenge.
Eric's more of a Gollum than he is a Gimli. But
Yeah, you could.
Eric is not a Gimli, but I was just thinking about it. But yeah, no, I mean, I think
because he would have totally looked at me, Sophia, and he was like, "Don't tell Sophia that you did this, but like throw me over there so that I can kill all these
Yeah.
assholes."
That is a great
Yeah.
moment and a great follow through from the first movie.
well,
Yes.
I think though that all connects. I mean, there's even the jokiness that of them, counting their kills. I don't know. I feel like it makes sense for their relationship and the tone that is set
They got to give
somewhat in that
Legolas
battle.
something to do.
Even though Legolas skateboarding on the shield, like that's also part of that tone. I think
That's
it connects.
Goober City. I'm out
Like I
on
think
that.
it's just kind of goofy. Like I love that stuff. And
My
it fits, I think, with the time too, and the movies that were coming out then. I don't know. I feel like there was a lot of that.
Jay, it's not as bad as
It's not
movies
hyper
nowadays that do
serious.
this shit. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
I don't like it now either.
you know what I
This
mean?
movie is phenomenal. That just keeps
Mhm.
it from being as good as Fellowship for me.
But so
is all it is.
my favorite, I told Sophia this, but my
But don't you
favorite.
kind of
Oh,
I sorry, go ahead. Go
no,
ahead. I'm just thinking of the first movie and what I don't like about the first movie as
oh, okay.
much.
Well, I mean, if you want to say it right now, just go ahead and
Well,
say
I
it.
was just thinking like for me, maybe that I think my version of this is how annoying I find Merry and Pippin in Fellowship.
Mm, where they're like stealing the rockets
Where
and
I'm like, oh
Some
my
people do
God, just
have
come
complaints about
on.
that.
well,
Yeah.
Jay,
Like,
you were a little bit like Merry and Pippin, like being complete annoying in the first
Yeah, I
film.
mean
Like,
but it's just to me they're so on the side. I mean, I do like in this movie
hmm
how they're grounded by the Ents, and the Ent stuff for me works
yeah,
Yeah.
so hard.
yeah. I think for me, I think the humor is necessary to because otherwise, because it is such a serious war battle sequence sort of setup film, and there's a lot at stake, and there's a lot of terror within not just the people of Rohan and they're traveling to Helm's Deep, but then the assembly of Saruman's army against the backdrop of the Ents. There's a lot, and also everything with Gollum. There's a lot of seriousness, and I think that Jay, if that character, if those that stuff, which spoiler alert, you're going to see a little bit more of that kind of in Return of the King,
Yes, that is a huge thing in Return of the King, if I remember correctly.
and it's not like huge, but
It's
it
not
is
like a huge plot point, but
more
it's
than this one though.
consistent.
but
Yeah.
it but
Yeah.
it is something that provides a little bit of levity. Otherwise, this thing is so super self serious.
Yeah, but in the
Then-
middle of that sequence,
But it's two
it is
people.
the most serious.
It's two
thing
people
ever.
out of thousands in the scene, and it's two that are in the DNA. Elves and dwarves have been rivals. It's in the code of their DNA to be rivals with one another, and that's even more so in like when you watch the Hobbits, like they branch that out as well too, and that is literally the plot of those movies is
Can't wait
the
to
fight,
find out about
and it doesn't work in those movies, and because they never find commonality. The commonality is their friendship here and their ability to turn this I think very serious about into something that's still very much them because they're going to kill these orcs anyway, and
Well, that's the other thing is
that
I
just
think
like drives them forward. You know what I mean?
I think the battle sequences here are very noisy in
Yeah.
ways that can become anonymous.
Yeah,
Whereas I think every action sequence in Fellowship has its own like mini narrative within it, which I think is, I mean, it's perfect. I think that movie is pretty much perfect.
Yeah.
And this film, I think, leans into some of the stuff that has become very stale over the years. Although when it came out, obviously it was,
It wasn't.
a
Yeah.
revelation. I remember when I turned this movie on, the one thing I was like, this movie, before this series, I was like, Two Towers is my favorite. What I love about Two Towers is that it's 2.5 hours of a castle battle. And I remember there were a bunch of ladders. That's all I remembered about the movie.
Oh, those ladders
I was
rule.
The
wrong.
ladders are great.
I was wrong about the 2.5 hours, but I was right about the ladders.
Oh,
There's a
you
lot
were
of
right
ladders.
about the hours.
Hmm.
A lot
Yeah,
of
those
ladders.
those ladders
Yeah.
rule. Can I, not to, that I don't want to keep talking about Helm's Deep, which I feel like we'll get back to here in a minute.
Hmm.
I feel like we have, while going down memory lane of our past, we haven't brought up Gollum nearly as much in
No,
this.
best character.
This
in the
is, which is
Yeah.
a revelation
Should have won
of,
an Oscar.
should have won an Oscar. I mean, like, the
And
hype
this one wasn't like Avatar motion tracking. It was basically, my understanding is more or less rotoscoped
I mean, it really
over
was
his
like,
performance.
it really is. That's why this whole thing over the years about Caesar and the Planet of the Apes and King Kong and all this stuff about circus is different than a lot of these other, you know, sort of, these other physical performances that they
They
make
they
digital.
faked it here.
Yeah, they pretty much like they
They
put
were
this creature on
inspired
side
by
of him.
his performance, but
Yeah.
there were no dots. It
No,
was-
it's pretty much like they had to computer generate around him to
Yeah.
make this. This is a lived in performance. They campaigned the hell out of this thing to try to make it through. And now the Academy then and still now doesn't look at this as a real performance, but this is a monumental performance and a movie that like was so anticipated, but then when you went into this thing and came out of it, it was almost to the extent of importance of like when you saw Heath Ledger as the Joker, you saw this character that you are like, that's all I'm going to talk about. I mean, obviously we talk about Helm's Deep and all these other characters, but at the time it was like, that's Gollum's movie. Two Towers is Gollum's movie. And it's crazy that the most memorable, best directed scene of this film, which is the dual conversation between Smeagol and Gollum, is not even directed by Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
It is directed by his wife and their other screenwriter,
Like they're married.
Oh, well, there's his partner. Well, you were saying his wife in the last episode.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did.
I absolutely did not
Tape.
say that.
But because he was off
I
filming.
said partner both in art and life. That's what I said.
There you go. All right. I apologize, Jay. He was off filming some other big set piece, and they felt like they needed this. And this was an add-on, and holy shit, what an add-on to this. But Sophia, your thoughts on Gollum
Oh my God.
in this?
I mean, like as much as I talked about Rohan and loving all of the politics and, everything involved there, when you think of this movie, you do remember Gollum. Like that is what you come back to. He is, the most important character in the movie. But I think what is so crazy about Serkis's performance is that this character, is iconic in so many ways, but the performance never feels like a caricature or like it's too much. It feels just right somehow the entire time. Like you're like, oh, this is exactly how this character would sound, how they would move, and it's all really his creation. And that's what's pretty crazy about it too, is you can, I'm sure Peter Jackson's direction and his life and art partner that's a part of it too, but
Mhm.
I don't know. I think so much of that is what Serkis brings to it, which is just this really eerie character who's just, I think you can feel so many different emotions from this character the whole time. And I think what's really cool about it is how differently Sam and Frodo respond to him throughout the story too. And how, Sam, for me as a character, and I know Ryan, he's your favorite, but for me as a
He's like
character,
the
I
North
think
Star. Yeah.
he's one he's always right, and not in a way that's like this all-knowing presence, but just someone who is very
Oh,
trustworthy. And
well, I was gonna say, Sam's not my favorite character. He's just my guy. Like I'll go to bat
oh,
for him as
okay.
like the
Okay.
important person,
Yes.
but he's not my favorite character in the series. But anyway,
Okay.
continue.
Okay. Yes.
You're sort
I
of a
thought you said that he
Sauron
was your
guy.
favorite, but you're a guy. Yes.
Yeah, I'm a big.
Yeah.
I love that eye.
Yeah.
When he's got 20/20. He sees all. So
But yeah, no, I think that's what really stands out to me about Circus's performance. And what's funny is that when I was watching this time, I thought, it's his voice and just like his like choking, like physical kind of like cough that he does. It sounded so familiar to me. And then when I was reading about his performance, he said he was inspired by his cat coughing up a hairball. And that's how he created the voice. And I said to myself, that is why it sounds familiar. He sounds just like my cat. I've been living with Gollum for years now.
yeah, like that.
Yep. Yep, exactly.
Exactly.
And one of
Jay.
the other things I
he's the
did think
character to
about
remember.
with Gollum as I was a Potter boy, and I was like, this is just
Mhm.
Dobby.
Oh my God, go
Oh
away.
no. Oh
No,
no.
Jay. Oh
No,
my
no, no. I'm
God.
saying Dobby was a ripoff of Gollum.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
No, no, I'm not.
totally.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like they ripped off Dobby. I'm just like, again, Harry Potter has ripped off Lord of the Rings, which
Yeah.
is
I mean, in so many ways,
largely what
right?
they
You see
did.
it
Yeah.
all over
And
it.
how they have to
Yeah.
have like this possession of an item in order to feel
Hmm.
Yeah,
free.
yeah,
The
Yeah.
chosen
master, right?
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
reluctant servant,
Yep.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all there. But Gollum, and oh God, when Gollum sort of pushes down Gollum and becomes Smeagol, there is this real sense of joy that he has that I find so sweet.
Mm.
Hmm.
And then when that does become corrupted again, it really kind of breaks my heart. I think that was not, I did not remember that going into this watch, that Gollum slash Smeagol was really kind of a sympathetic character.
Yeah.
And I
Sad.
I I think, yeah, it's sad. And I
Yeah.
Hmm.
want Smeagol to be happy. I
Smeagol.
want him to eat that raw rabbit.
That was
But
pretty good.
Sam won't let him. Sam's a jerk to Smeagol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody
That's why
likes
Sam's
you.
not my guy.
Yeah, exactly. And then he's go
You
and
can
then
have Sam
He's protective
his
of
job is to
Frodo.
protect
of his
Frodo.
Frodo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his
Sam's
friend.
speech at the end of the movie. Oh my
Oh,
God.
God.
Unbelievable.
Where it's
Yeah.
just talking about like how you got to have hope, and God, that hits hard right now, doesn't it, folks? Like,
It's so good. And that is one of those
Hmm.
things that is achingly sincere to a degree that would be
Yeah.
rejected today.
yeah,
Hmm.
that moment you guys are talking about, like the moment for me for why I think like this is an incredible performance. Obviously, like every scene that Serkis does is it's the thing when we talk about Andy Serkis, if God forbid something happened to him, this will be what everybody knows him for. Is this performance?
Oh,
And
this is the CNN headline. Andy Serkis, star
yeah,
of Lord of the Rings,
yeah, star
dead
and
at
known as
175.
exactly known to the world as Gollum, for his and I
You don't think he'll be known as the director of the Jungle Book?
no, it's Mowgli, isn't it?
Just Mowgli. You're right.
It's just
It was
Mowgli.
just Mowgli.
Thank you, sir. Netflix is Mowgli. Because it came out the same year as the Jungle Book
Didn't he
from
direct one of the
Pfeiffer.
Venom movies?
Let There Be Carnage, right? I believe the second one.
Yes, he did direct Let
Yes.
There Be Carnage, and he's also directing an Animal Farm movie.
No, thank you.
Oh.
No, thank you, please. But
Script written by Nicholas Stoller.
oh, gee. All right, okay.
Back to Gollum.
I think the scene that you guys are really trying to talk about is when Faramir and them capture him, and he's on the ground, and it's Smeagol. Why are you crying, Smeagol? And it's just like
Pretty good.
Gollum
Pretty good.
tearing this fucking being's soul apart right there, saying, I told you not to trust him. The only thing now that you can trust is the ring and me. And it's this soul crushing.
But it wasn't true, though.
I know it wasn't true.
That's what hurts.
But that's
so bad
how
about it.
manipulative
Yeah.
that the ring and its power and what Gollum has become. And that for years, Smeagol's only known that way. And when it has to default back, it's the ultimate abusive relationship. And then they're talking about at the end of, they'll feed her to the fucking spider that we'll see in the next one. And
oh yeah. But at the end he's like, we'll leave it up to her. And you don't know what it is.
Exactly.
But then you find out what it is.
We'll find out next week. But even like you see in Sam's speech that's Smeagol listening. And then you see the flip towards the end back to Gollum being like, what a load of horse shit.
But then you also see Frodo like slowly getting into Gollum mode as well.
Yes,
so
because the ring's power, and it's as the closer they get to, Mount Doom, that ring it doesn't want to be destroyed.
He's got to remind him it's your Sam.
And yes, and I know that you're fucking joking around, but that's the truth.
No, it's actually very
the
sweet.
only way to get through. You know what I mean? And it's very sweet, and it's like it's the way you snap him out of it and try to get him to realize that like we're not done yet. But it's really
when they Saturdays are for the.
But the thing about it is throughout these first two films, we've literally heard about the toll that this journey is going to take, and we're seeing it in this movie really take into full effect as he's getting closer and closer to the gates and getting closer and closer to getting rid of the ring. Is that it's not a like heavy as in terms of a ring, because it's just a ring. It's emotionally, psychologically, and we see that like at any point like Frodo could give himself up, and weaker people have. And that's why Sam's so important, is that he is there the entire way to get Frodo there, even past his own self. And that's why that makes that scene so beautiful. And just opposing that to Gandalf saving the day and everybody, or I mean like the final, where everyone's fouling off the orcs and the victory at Helm's Deep commences. It's great. And Circus has that good balance too, where you're right, Jay. Gollum has this innocence, but Smeagol is to not be, or I'm sorry, Gollum has this sinisterness and Smeagol has this innocence, and you can't tell when he is going to be one or the other. And that makes Sam's alert, on high alert, because like he's like, you can't trust this guy, even if he knows his way. And the convenience of there's
Frodo in the bog, though, that's one of the best scenes of the movie, I think.
Yeah, but then, I think the silly little shit that is Gollum being like, oh, there's another way to the hot gates, and then Faramir's like, you're taking him there.
Other way.
You're taking him there. Is that thing there? You go, no, it's not there. You know what I mean? He's such a good character.
And Serkis wasn't really a thing. I mean, he was a working actor, but he wasn't Andy Serkis.
No. And now, I mean, this performance made him. He made Mowgli.
I mean, it changed. I think this performance, though, it really did change movie history in many ways.
Yeah.
And even other like motion capture characters, or people who've tried to do similar things. Oh, Jar Jar Binks. My God.
I'm just
true. No, but they feel flat and not as
one note
alive.
Yeah.
And I think what Serkis does with Gollum is really, I think, create, especially, I mean, I love the characters in this movie, and really, throughout the Lord of the Rings, but he's the character who's probably the most complex if you're really breaking them down, because the others are essentially, I mean, like, even as much as I love Gandalf as a character, we know what he represents right?
He's the
And
wisest wizard.
He's Jesus.
yeah, right. And with that's why I watch this on Easter.
Yeah.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter, everybody.
And Gollum, I feel like, is just a lot trickier, more complex. And a big part of that, like you were talking about, is that through him, we see what could become of Frodo.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's the
Yes,
outcome. Like
that is
that
true.
could be the outcome. That's what
Exactly.
we're seeing. And seeing them together, I think makes that more powerful.
Well, and then this film is taking the idea of when we last saw Bilbo and him leap at the ring
Hmm.
in Fellowship,
Yeah.
and we see that make
Oh,
up.
the meme.
Yeah, the meme. Yes, exactly. But that's a taste of that as well. Of that, if he
Hmm.
let it just come to him and he just went into that evil, then
Yeah.
he would become that. But
I
Can
mean,
we
Gollum,
like your
talk?
high
Can I
school
talk about?
stories. We all have good and evil within us, right?
Can I?
exactly.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, Jay, that's what this podcast is for.
What's the big deal about this ring? Like, it just makes you invisible,
It's, I mean, it
and you
makes
go
you
into
live.
like the anti dimension.
I mean, you also can like live to be 111 years old. Like you can,
Yeah, I mean, but then when
you
Sauron wears it, he becomes this like all powerful being. It seems to have sort of
Hmm.
random.
no, I mean his ability and him having it makes him all powerful, but you can't wield it against him.
Do the
You can't
powers change
harness.
according to the user?
No, like I think that those are just sort of like universal like things that maybe you could have within a
When
magic ring.
Sauron had the ring on, he was visible.
Well, I mean the elves all have rings and they're everlasting power, and the ring wraiths they themselves have rings that made them sort of corrupted by Sauron to
Hmm.
begin with, and that's why they're the ring wraiths. But
I
and
think
that's why they're ever
actually,
living
in some
forever. But
ways, is this an anti-marriage movie?
is this
That's why you
the
had me on, you
is
guys.
Is this
the
saying
thoughts
that
that you've been
is this
having
saying
on?
that the wedding ring is a corrupting force?
I think that and whoever wields it is I don't know.
It's definitely coded as a male wedding ring.
I
I
mean,
I I do feel it. I mean, it does look like a wedding ring. Like it's
yeah,
that like
That's
that
yeah.
solid gold
it's the most basic
band.
of all the rings. Yeah.
And many nerds do replicate this for their wedding rings.
I
You
did
can have a
not.
Lord of the Rings themed wedding.
I'm shoving their head in the toilet.
I did not.
That's
But
unacceptable.
anyway,
That is not mine. I
no,
have silver and gold. Thank you.
I do think there is, at
Oh,
least
you pulled a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
my
Yes.
interpretation of it has always been though that it does kind of depend on who has it, who's wearing it. Again, for Harry Potter, how they stole again from this, but Horcrux, when they have those,
Mm,
it taps into
Hmm.
each person's inherent evil, I think, or what they might do if they were holding it. And I think here there's a line in the movie about it, but like you can't create any, like it's not just simply power. It's not like you can create something good from it if that's what you choose to
yeah.
do. Instead, because it was created, with all of these other rings, it was the dominant force. So its inherent quality is really to suppress everything else around it, if you
It's
think of
also
it that way. So it's always to dominate and to be evil and to just wield this kind of negative energy and power over everything else
it's
around you
like
and just put everything else down.
it's like Sophia's doppelganger Kate Blanchett says in the opening of Fellowship of the Rings. His rule to dominate. And so she's
Not
actually
enough
actually
Blanchett in this one.
100%
No, I agree.
correct in that
Blanchett was just
everybody that
Blanchett and
when
Fellowship. Honestly,
yeah,
that might be why I like it more.
no, that's probably why. But when
Intense.
she's talking about it in Fellowship, she's talking about that, you know, where she goes to, sort of for like, you would have a queen and everything. And it's because all her goodness that she had would be stripped away, and that would be her true form if she was having the corruptness of the ring take full control over her. And that's the thing about it is the ring is the a manifestation of the soul of Sauron. You're absolutely right. So even though if it got back to him, he could rise like Voldemort and come back and, harm. But if you destroy it, you get rid of the whole entire enterprise.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Voldemort is like Sauron
Yeah.
1 bajillion%.
Yeah, exactly.
Insane.
Yeah.
Can I get another thing off my chest?
Sure.
Wilhelm screams.
A lot of them.
Never good.
Never good.
Never good. Always distracting and bad and not worth it. That is my take on Wilhelm screams.
I think the old movies used to use the Wilhelm scream a lot more than nowadays, and that's how I distinguish quality action films from the gobbledygook that we have today. Sorry. So I'm sorry, Jay. I'm not gonna. You're not
Wait,
gonna
you're
win that
saying
one.
if they have a Wilhelm scream, then that means it's good. That's a seal of approval.
For the most part, yeah, they don't use it a lot.
Stink. No, but they use them like ironically. It's so annoying.
Nowadays, you mean?
Forever, like Star Wars, Spielberg.
I like it. I don't know.
I'm out on it.
Well, like I mean, that's
out.
where it like originated was from.
Especially
Star
in this
Wars,
one, in the Battle of Helm's Deep, to have a Wilhelm scream in the middle of it, it's absurd.
It's an homage. It's
Wilhelm
just
screams are annoying and winky and stupid.
Cool. And now you sound just as much of a nerd as the people with Lord of the Rings because you're getting mad about Wilhelm.
The nerds. People who use Wilhelm screams, they're the nerds.
You think a regular person on the street knows what exactly you're talking about?
Regular people are Googling it right now.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, God, Jay, touch grass. Get outside.
Ryan, you ever gotten a swirly?
No.
I got a swirly at football camp.
You got a swirly?
I got swirly at football
Sophia,
camp.
I thought those were just on TV.
No,
really.
you get
Sophia, you give one out?
You get hazed at football camp. It was bad. I got like seven guys. More J Lore. This is a big J Lore episode.
Don't
you've heard of J Lo, but what about J Lore?
Do girls give other girls swirlies?
No. No. I got one detention in my life, and it was for bringing the Da Vinci Code to school.
Oh.
And for wanting to read that in 4th grade.
Her favorite book still.
Yeah. I got in trouble.
She likes later Dan Brown.
Oh yeah.
He likes the post Robert Langdon.
Is he still writing?
Yeah, he's still got some books out there,
Is he
right?
Still going?
My God, those books were like crazy. I mean, Sophia dressed up as Paul Bettany to school.
I remember liking that book.
That was actually
Paul Bettany. Oh my God.
That was actually the best movie was The Angels and Demons because like
I don't think I've seen any of those movies.
I like McGregor being like the little like well, it's all involved around a conclave, right? Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yes,
R.I.P. the Pope.
Vatican.
We're recording this on the
I'll take Angels and Demons over Conclave. Pro Hanks. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. Conclave sucks. I'm just gonna say that now. It's overrated.
Wow.
I thought it was fine.
Are you saying the idea of a conclave or the movie?
Take it whatever way you want.
Okay.
I didn't really understand its meme ability, but
yeah, that was a little weird. It felt like
it makes people happy.
I don't know. I can't even say that, Sophia. I was like, wait, why is Charlie XCX and Chaperone on Clips for Conclave? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Charlie XCX, real cinephile.
Really? Yeah.
PTA Summer.
It's PTA Summer. Did you know that?
I saw the trailer.
Oh.
I saw it in the theater.
Yeah. I like how everyone's going to probably hear this a month or two after it's happened. Jay, your thoughts on the trailer?
Looks good. Can't wait.
Did it look great on IMAX?
The rug unrolls at the end.
Oh, I mean, so good. That actually, it might be the best part of the trailer.
It played well in my theater.
Benicio, I'm just going to say it. Give him a supporting actor.
Already?
Give him another one.
You haven't even seen Penn in action.
For the trailer itself.
I'm going to tell you this. People are going to have thoughts on Penn. And guess what, guys? I don't care.
He's going to be around all next season.
He's going to be around all next season.
I anticipate
those roundtables are going to be wild.
I anticipate that movie pissing off a lot of right-wingers. That's what I anticipate.
Good.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That seems to be a movie directly addressing
what's going on right now.
His relationship or his sort of existence as the father of a mixed race child. That is my interpretation of what that movie's about so far. And from the trailer, I think I nailed it. And that's it. And I don't even need to see the movie anymore.
I'm getting really emotional over here. I think that's wonderful.
I nailed it. It's going to be a very interesting movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the idea of the mother in the trailer being like, she comes from a long line of revolutionaries, his Tiana Taylor's character, and then tie that to Maya Rudolph's comes from a long line of talented people. Why did she marry you? That's another, like, that's the thing that ties well into the Phantom
Minnie
thread of it all.
Riperton.
And I also, good Lord, do I appreciate how Leonardo DiCaprio is willing to just be a total doofus on screen.
That's why I think
My favorite version of Leo.
That's why he's a great movie star, because he plays idiots. He plays idiots well.
In real life, he seems to be one of the more vain people.
Very self-serious.
But on screen, he'll let it go.
Yeah.
He cares a lot about our planet, though.
Yeah, that is true. But stick a 26-year-old near him and he's done.
Ants.
He does, but he does. I mean, he carbon dates his girlfriends specifically.
Just like the ants, he loses
just like
women.
The ants.
Loses women.
Hates deforestation.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, because the ants lost women and he's mostly hanging around girls. So
yeah. And he counts the rings.
Exactly. I love the Ents. I love
the Ents are great. Treebeard rocks.
Treebeard rocks.
Wise old man.
Jay, you know who plays Treebeard, right?
It's John Rhys Davies.
Yeah. So
double role.
Yeah. So you're shit talking him about Gimli. He's kicking ass here as
he's great as Gimli.
I don't know. Sophia didn't sound like it earlier, did it?
As Gimli,
it didn't sound like you liked Gimli very much.
Yeah, it was a little rude to Gimli.
I love Gimli. I don't love what they ask Gimli to do all the time.
I don't know.
Mm.
When he
I love it when he has to get thrown, though. That's one of the best moments in the movie.
I love when he gets thrown. It's such a good part.
Don't tell the elf.
Hit the little back 15 button.
Yeah.
To watch him get thrown again.
Man, them getting carried up the wall by Legolas. That's just friendship right there, guys.
Yeah.
I help you guys up the wall. Sophia probably wouldn't. Jay probably wouldn't.
Listen, I would not be anywhere near.
Would you be down with the women and children down there?
I'd be hanging out with Eowyn.
I would be down with the women and children. Yeah.
I'd be hanging out with Eowyn, just simping over Aragorn. Just like, oh my God.
That's exactly who I would be.
Oh man.
The worst character in the movie, Eowyn.
You think so? Wow.
What does she do?
I think so.
She does talk to the only other female character in this entire series. Where's Mama? And that's it. So if you think any other female characters are going to talk to each other,
they're swoon over Aragorn.
Well, I think
I get it.
I think I think in this film, well, one, she's concerned about her uncle and her people, and she wants to be more independent and free.
And her brother, especially in the extended edition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think that she is in this conflict between her uncle about protecting their people and being in more of a traditional values mindset, and as opposed to being a forward thinking mindset, which is that she wants to be free. She wants to be a part to help. That she sees helping as fighting in the battle. And he sees her as, you are the only thing left that I can see here because your brother's gone. You're the only one that can lead our people that I can trust. And I think that is a very interesting thing for the both of them. And I do think, it's okay for her to see that this guy that's come out of nowhere who sees her for what she is and sees her for not just a woman to tend to the children in times of trouble, but actually like a swordsman. And can actually like defend herself and take care of herself. Can't make soup, but she can do pretty much anything else. And
which is why she retreats to the catacombs during the battle.
Well, she retreats because
she has to.
She loves her uncle and she respects his wishes. And there'll be more to come on that later. And when you get to return,
I don't remember.
The payoff doesn't come here. It'll come later. And I think that's the thing. You know,
with her too, you have to think about like where we started with them too. Like nasty Grima Wormtongue is like lusting after her too.
Who's the film
like that
Twitter equivalent of Grima Wormtongue, by the way?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay. All right.
That feels like
Jay, do you have a question?
that
Do
feels
you have
like
an
a
answer
good meaty piece of bait.
It's the Insider.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
100%. It's the
Ian
Insider.
Snyder. Man, him going up against
We'll talk about it with him on the Return of the King episode.
I actually think, you know what? That's actually pretty good because
good.
oh, I can't believe I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, do it. Let's go.
You know who the like the old, like decrepit, possessed version of Theoden is?
Mm,
It's Jeff Wells.
it's Jeff
Oh,
Wells.
yeah, it's Jeff Wells. It's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get me to can with Jordan Rummy. Yeah,
Oh
I
my
mean,
God, stop. I can't believe
yeah.
I should do that. We're talking about the movie. But anyway,
Yes.
what I was saying was if, if she's in this very like difficult situation, weird predicament, her entire, I don't know, life really could change and isn't hanging in the balance. And so I think she's just navigating that for now.
Her
But
cousin's
yeah,
dead
it
too.
will improve.
Yeah.
But it will improve in the next movie.
Her uncle's
sure,
possessed. Her cousin has died. Her people are starving. Her brother is gone.
She's just kind of navigating the dating world of broken Rohan.
But that,
oh my God.
within,
And in that sense, it really is sort of a Sex and the City situation.
But honestly, though,
Miranda,
if you
played
think
by
of,
Miranda Otto.
but if you're watching, when you watch the films, like clearly, Aragon, his heart is with somebody else. But she's really probably somebody that, and that's kind of Lord Elrond's point, is that you should probably be more with a person like this, because Arwen needs to go on to the Undying Lands and be with her people instead of.
What a lovely little thread, though.
I mean, that scene, that sequence.
She just wants to smooch Aragorn.
It's just like, to me, that's the little things that just get better on the rewatches is just going back and tying that from Fellowship back into this, and we'll see more of it. I actually think it's perfect in Return of the King. That storyline is just, that's one of the top tier storylines, and it is, and what is
I wish
why
we got more elves. And I love the elf
I
stuff
like the elves too.
In Fellowship.
Yeah,
I love Rivendell.
I love
them. I love them.
Hot.
I love. I love them coming here to sit to help. And there was once an alliance with men and elves many years ago, and Aragon, you are most welcome. Not just because like fuck, we need some people here, but also like these are people that he knows, that he can trust. And when the head elf dies, like it's given the same sort of time.
I didn't really care about that.
It's given the same time as like if one of the Fellowship died, and that's the type of attention to detail and care for the characters that other.
It is. And then what I was like,
oh, Jay.
No, I love all of that detail.
Rama.
Can we talk? My favorite detail though is that Aragorn is 87.
Hell yeah. Yes.
An old guy.
87 years old.
Look, the skincare.
That.
Skincare. God, he's just moisturizing every day. Like, good for him. He's looking good. 87 years old. Do you guys know how long he lives till?
I mean, of course I do.
I know this. Jay?
I'm trying to remember.
Why don't you give me an over under, and I'll.
It's in the hundreds.
Why don't you just give me
147?
Okay. Sophia?
I'm gonna guess.
Price is Right.
Price is Right, so don't go over. Okay, then I'm gonna guess 200.
Oh, actual retail price. He lives to 210 years old.
Wow, Sophia with the win.
Yeah. Exactly.
See, Arwen, that's plenty of time.
Yeah, but not enough time with that man.
No.
She wants even more.
That's true.
Oh.
Aragorn.
She is so beautiful. She is I think one of the most beautiful.
Who?
Like the Arwen, like Liv Tyler. I think that is like some of the most like. I think she looks more beautiful. She might be like an example of that, of like the prettiest someone's ever looked in a movie.
Yeah.
To me,
she really is.
I like her when she's ripping cigs in The Leftovers. That's my peak Liv.
She's great. I was telling Jay in the last episode, it's like not a family I want to marry into, but definitely just
I'm in.
Oh, you're in for Steven Tyler to be your brother-in-law?
Father-in-law.
Father-in-law, sorry.
Yeah, he's your
He
father-in-law.
would act like your brother-in-law, to be fair. He wouldn't.
Yeah,
I'm not
he
your
would.
father. Yeah,
Does he
would
watch Netflix trash as well?
I think you need to look up
Would
Steven
Has he
Tyler
seen
and some
Tall Girl?
Would that tradition continue?
Tall Girl.
Would I get to watch Electric State?
Oh, yeah.
Still
Well,
haven't finished Electric State.
You didn't finish it with him?
No.
No.
I gotta finish it.
Do you really have to?
I gotta make sure I check that out.
One of my favorite moments, I told Sophia this, one of my favorite moments is when they're on the move to Helm's Deep and Legolas sees like the sort of the orcs or the orcai on the cheetah looking things. And when and the guys come up behind on horseback, he fires that shot of the arrow and hits him. And then the way he just kind of like jumps on behind Gimli. So cool.
That's good. Yeah.
That's so
I don't
cool.
love the little cheetah warthog.
Yeah, it's one of the CGI things that doesn't
gooey.
age.
Yeah, it's flubbery.
It gets a little too sweaty, for its own good. But this is the thing that we have to talk about from the extended edition that's not in the theatrical edition, and that is Boromir and Faramir's
an essential
relationship.
Piece of the
story. And the introduction of Jon Noble as their father, who is the steward of Gondor,
who is not even in the theatrical cut.
He's not in the theatrical cut. You do not see him until Return of the King, but he is in this, and I think it is so important. And honestly, it really recontextualizes a little bit, even more so, about Boromir in Fellowship of the Ring. So, Jay, what did you think about that sequence, buddy?
No, I think it, as far as character development goes, I think it
rocks.
He becomes a baked bean. Really, I think is what.
God damn it! Good job.
No, I mean, I really think it does give you more of a connection to Boromir, and it makes you really understand why Faramir has the chip on his shoulder that he does in this movie, and why he is, kind of a little bit of a prick.
He's trying to prove something.
Frodo, and yeah. He's trying to be more like his perception of Boromir, which is this hard-headed, strong-willed guy, when in reality what we see is that Boromir very much is that, but he also has this softness to him that we didn't really see until he dies in the first film. But this kind of tells us that it was always really there, and kind of the problem for both of them is parental pressure, where Boromir really feels like he has to succeed in the name of his father, and Faramir feels inadequate because of the way that his dad treats him. And a lot of stuff to break down in that scene. So I think it's really, really good.
And it only gets flushed out more next week, buddy. I'm going to tell you just that. It is a complex, complicated relationship that's at the head of the table there.
Well, the next one's pretty short, right?
You mean the next film?
They really press it in.
Yeah, they're really like just jam packing stuff in for a 90-minute runtime. Sophia?
Yeah, no, I think that the relationship is so important because it's also, I mean, birth order plays a huge part in that, and how he feels, now that not just if you think about the what the extended edition incorporates, and how he's looking at how his father views him, and it's very extreme of how differently he views him from his brother, from Boromir.
It's that meme of some, I think somebody said, what would you give up to win a Super Bowl? Oh, I give up my second child.
I'm gonna bring up Jay's favorite movie. I mean, it's kind of like how Mary Tyler Moore views her kids.
That's exactly what I was
ordinary
say.
People.
Yeah.
After Buck dies,
look,
she's
I like that movie.
I know, I'm just teasing, but it is this. I think what's interesting about it is like for for him, like I think this becomes the pressure somehow becomes more intense now that he knows that Boromir has died. Right?
Yeah.
Like the fact that he's not there anymore also he now has something to prove tenfold to his father. There's a
Yeah.
different chance, there's an opportunity maybe that he can kind of take his place. And Jay, like you were saying too, if he wants to kind of embody the idea of who he thought his brother was. But I really like that he, comes to the realization of how evil the ring is
Yep.
and ultimately lets them go, and that
Good job,
is
Sam.
more important than him impressing his father and his people. And I don't know, I like that development. And that's one of those things where I think this is why the extended version is the one to watch, because you get all of those additional little details about these characters that are so important in understanding this new group that Tolkien brings into the second, right? Into Two Towers, not into Fellowship.
I think that the other thing why this is so necessary, the line from Fellowship of from Aragon, I would not bring the ring within 1,000 leagues of your city. And this is a scene that
leagues
perfectly
is a nautical term. This is another thing that I kept thinking about.
Damn it, Jay. Don't let me finish the point, please. Okay.
Okay, all right.
Which is that
they say leagues a lot.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
That's ocean. That's
maybe
ocean
maybe
stuff.
that's a translation from another, maybe another
Yeah.
place. Anyway, I'm just trying to justify it. I don't have to. But I think that this whole scene is literally the reason why he would say something like that. The unsteadiness of focus of leadership. Because you have these two boys, essentially, that are trying to appease an old man who doesn't have any right to this throne, but is power hungry and doesn't and rules from afar. And that way he snaps at Boromir. But after they get the city back, and they're like, "What you would have lost it if it was your brother?" You know what I mean? And it just shows them why when he has Sam and Frodo, and he has the ring, and he's like, "I'm going to show that not only can I get this done and am I competent, but my brother, my dead brother, is incompetent and couldn't do this and couldn't deliver you this thing as well. Even though I love him, this is a chance to be the number one, daddy's favorite." And it's rather silly, but it makes sense for these characters and what we know of how unstable Gondor is, because when you go flashback to Helm's Deep, and Aragorn has this sense of, because of his experience with Boromir, him even having internalized forgiveness of Gondor and understanding that I have to separate my relationship with the throne and understand that if we're only going to win if we unite together. And so call for aid to Gondor. And when Theoden getting so angry there, being like, "Where was Gondor when we were struggling and dying? They were never here. And no, they're not coming now because their leader is too self-vain and stubborn and doesn't want to rule. He just he doesn't want to help. He just wants to stay put in his position of power." And it says a lot about how Gondor is run and how Rohan is run. Protect people at all cost, tradition, and versus this pettiness at the top of power. And
I would just like to dunk on myself. The origin of a league did come from a unit of land measurement.
you really yeah. I'm glad that
It
you
was
corrected
roughly
yourself.
defined as the distance a person could walk in an hour.
Okay.
In sort
How
of
do you feel
ancient
about that, Jay?
times. It was it originated as a Celtic thing, then was adopted by Rome,
Okay.
and then in the Middle Ages was a fairly kind of common unit of measure.
Yeah.
So
I'm
shout
glad
out JRR. You put the work in, my man. You studied the tape.
Yeah.
I mean, well, if you think of the etymology of the word too, I think the way they also are using it isn't necessarily like a measurement, but it's like if you think of like binding, like a league, that's how
Mm,
what it comes from.
okay.
So it connects to the fellowship theme too.
Yeah. So shut up, nerd, is what she's saying. You know,
I think she really exposed herself as the true nerd there.
I think she just gave you a
But
swirly. Yeah. A verbal swirly.
Oh my God, I would love
Sophia
to
would
give
have
a
given me a
swirly.
swirly in high school.
Who would you give it to, Sophia?
Any person?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Probably Elon Musk.
Mm,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jay, who would you give a swirly to?
Russell Wilson.
You know what? I give it to Aaron Rodgers.
Mm.
Yeah.
He deserves it too.
He deserves it. And then he'd probably be like,
hmm
is there fluoride in this
Yeah.
Russell
water?
Wilson. Russell
Would be
Wilson
really
probably a
worried
little
about
mean.
it.
Russell
You know
Wilson,
what?
man, what a weirdo.
I was thinking like Rogan would be a good one, but it's not good. He doesn't have hair. So it
No,
wouldn't mean
you
the
gotta
same.
like hair is important.
Hair is essential.
Yeah, yeah. Musk would make it like an electric toilet and ruin the experience or something like
Hmm.
that. Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. I have plenty of options I could go
I
with,
feel like there's
but
some we'll just say off air. We'll just try not to
yeah.
upset anybody today. We've already done enough to the past, present, and probably future of the people that are listening on this show.
Yeah.
I feel like
It,
this is the right crowd to do this. Are we wrapping up?
oh, I was gonna. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna ask. Is there any other thoughts that you guys have? Have we not covered something, or is there some
No,
stuff
this is
that?
tremendously important.
Okay, all right, Jay. What is it?
You know what we love to do?
Oh boy,
We love some alternative casting.
here we go. You know what? You didn't do this last
Mhm.
week,
I know. I was
and
saving it.
Oh, okay. You knew which episode.
This is the
to do it
crew.
for. Okay, this is the crew to do it. Yeah.
This is the crew.
Okay.
Right. So
I'm
the
ready.
actor Elijah Wood plays Frodo.
It's Jake G.
Jake G was the other. He wasn't even.
Hmm.
Frodo was always the one who was going to play it, but Jake G read for it.
Yeah, and he screwed up the audition because he didn't have a British
Frodo's a
accent.
much Elijah Wood is a much gentler person. I think
That
he
seems
makes a
like
lot
the
more
right
sense as-
choice.
Yeah.
I think Jake would have been better.
Ooh.
I don't know.
I think he's a better
Wow,
actor.
a young Jake,
Jake
Donnie
is a
Darko Jake.
Jake is a better actor. I don't think he. Frodo is. Can we talk about
You know
Frodo
who
for a
would play him
second?
now?
Oh
Paul
God,
Mescal.
no! I think they would have got Chalamet.
We would have
Chalamet?
a jacked Frodo.
Yeah, we'd have little Twinkie Chalamet running around there. Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, you know who'd play him?
Yeah, guys,
You know who'd play
gonna
him?
take that ring.
Flounder.
Oh, you think Tremblay would play?
They'd get Tremblay in there.
Oh man, who would play Gandalf nowadays?
It'd probably still be Ian McKellen. They'd bring him back out.
Probably still.
All right. Who else, Jay?
All right. Okay. Moving on.
McKellen.
Ian McKellen as Gandalf. Famously, Sean Connery
Red for the Wall.
turned this role down, as well as Morpheus.
Lawrence
And
Fishburne.
then he.
Oh no, he
obviously-
turned. Oh, you mean he turned down the role of Morpheus as well too?
Yes, in the
'Cause
Matrix.
I thought you were
he was
about to
like,
say-
I don't get these weird fantasy sci-fi things. And then he was like, I guess I should just take League of Extraordinary Gentlemen because clearly I keep whiffing.
Man,
then he
and
took
that
that
was
one.
the biggest whiff of all time. Yeah,
He would be bad in this.
he would be awful in this.
Like he would be bad.
I come to you at the turn of the tide. You know,
You shall not pass.
you shall not pass.
You're not gonna pass here.
Look to my light on the third day.
Another guy who turned it down, Ian's buddy,
Patrick Stewart.
P. Stew.
Yeah,
Peace too.
I hate you sometimes, but it's so funny. It's so true. I think Patrick Stewart would have been good, but he also, I just think of him as Professor X, and I think and I think of him in,
He just
in
doesn't
Star
have, he
Trek.
doesn't have the hair. He
Doesn't have the hair. That's the other thing too. Yeah, him
I mean,
with a
obviously
beard
they
would
all-
be
anyone
weird.
Obviously, they
but
all
Ian
wear
McKellen.
wigs, but I can't see Patrick Stewart not bald.
Ian McKellen, our greatest Shakespearean actor.
My greatest Shakespearean actor.
Yeah, one of the
Wow.
greats. It's like him.
A couple other guys. Who
It's
turned
like
it
him,
down.
Denzel, Judi Dench,
Laurence Olivier.
Laurence
Yeah,
Olivier.
that's
And that's probably it. Nobody else.
This is a loaded list of people who turned it down. Anthony Hopkins, Christopher Plummer.
Oh, Anthony Hopkins
Ooh.
would have been. Plummer would have been would have been good.
Plummer would have been good.
I think Plummer would have been good. I don't have much interest.
I don't know if he would have moved around a lot,
Hopkins in
but
another role, maybe.
Hopkins lacks
could
the
have been
kind
like
of physicality.
Theoden.
Hopkins as Saruman would have been good.
Well, been good.
He would have been Theoden, but like Bernard Kate's so good. By the way,
Yeah.
he is so good in this movie.
John Aston.
When he's one of the scenes
David Bowie
that was extended. That would have. I don't know about that. That would have just made it even probably too
Sam Neill was offered been the role.
Too distracting. Probably would be in Bowie for Gandalf. But the scene where it's in the film, it's extended the burial scene of his son, of Theoden's son. But that scene at the tomb, no parent should bury their child, and it's just Gandalf trying to reassure him, but he's a broken man.
One of the most like universal. That's gonna get me. That's gonna get me.
That's just a beautiful scene there. And so,
my favorite bit of recasting or casting trivia. You know who was supposed to play Aragorn, or who wanted to play Aragorn?
We're going to Aragorn next.
Russell Crowe.
First choice for Aragorn.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh, was it Daniel Day-Lewis?
Danny D. Yeah.
That would have been
really good.
You know who would have knocked it out of the park? Daniel Day-Lewis. But you know who also knocked it out of the park? Viggo Mortensen.
It would have been Mohicans level of Daniel Day-Lewis. So that's why other people say, "Oh, I can't see it." Last of the Mohicans is the template for it. He would have been really good. I don't know if he would have, and I love Daniel Day-Lewis. I think he would have pulled off a lot of like the smaller scenes and the emotional. I don't know if I could see him in the action scenes.
Well, particularly, you were just talking about Last of the Mohicans. He did
it. But he can do it.
When I particularly think of any action scenes, I'm thinking of him like fighting an orc. I'm
not going to recast Viggo. Viggo is so good.
The method acting he would have had to do.
Him having to talk to the ghosts in Return of the King would have been like levels of. We would have been talking about this for a millennia. But also I think Russell Crowe would have been a horrible casting. To be fair, that just
I like
Viggo is.
But you know who else got an offer?
Who?
Nicolas Cage.
Oh, that would have been terrible. Frodo, I swore to protect you.
The voice. Oh my god.
One of the great things in this film. It's right after they're taking the hobbits to Isengard, which we haven't said about that. The munified of that is when they find the bodies after they talk to Karl Urban, and they're and they find like their like belts or whatever, Merry Poppins belts. And when Viggo kicks the helmet, he broke his toe there. And that's an actual genuine reaction. So everybody talks about Tom Cruise like breaking his ankle or everything. Viggo broke a toe.
He broke a couple toes.
And he kept going. They didn't stop production. They kept going. So.
All right, here's my last alternate casting. This is hell. Sean Astin, Samwise Gamgee,
which is a perfect casting.
Perfect casting.
No notes. Who?
These are not people who were cast, but these are people who read for the part.
Okay, all right, Jake.
I know the scary one, or at least one of the.
I don't remember him.
James Kimberly Corden.
Fuck.
Read for the part. Graham Norton.
Oh my God, no.
And Corey Feldman read for the part.
Well, they kind of went the Feldman route with Aston a little bit.
But not
that
Corey
way.
Feldman though.
Could you imagine? Here's the thing about Lord of the Rings that's so great is how connected this cast is still with one another. You see especially the guys that play the hobbits. They meet
all the Comic
Cons. They do anniversary screenings and Q&As and dinners. There was one time, it was during the Captain Fantastic year. They all had a dinner with Viggo and did a Q&A for him and filmed a bit. And it was just for like the 25th or something, or like the 15th anniversary, I guess. And that's what's so great. During the pandemic, they had a an anniversary sort of thing, and Stephen Colbert moderated it, I believe, online. And but they're all very close. So I think like if you would have cast all these other people, man, that's the thing. The lightning in the bottle of this whole project would have just collapsed within on itself. And it's different than
I don't know that I have a recast in that. There's nobody who I think is bad in the cast.
no.
No.
No, and I
Well,
mean, for some of them, it's so much of their breakout or their, and then you have actors that are so unique, like Hugo
I didn't realize
Weaving
how
playing
young Elijah Wood was.
Hugo Weaving
yeah.
being
He was like 20.
Elrond is like just the perfect casting. Like Kate Blanchett, that's how do you get you couldn't get
I
her
mean,
to
Kate
do
Blanchett was
this
definitely
now,
a thing,
but she
at this
wasn't
point,
like
but not Kate Blanchett.
she hadn't even won an Oscar yet by that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, she's
she had
still an
just
important person.
when she got cast, it was like because they cast these what late '90s, right?
I
So
assume so.
so she had probably just got
2000.
nominated for Elizabeth, which was her first one, right, Sophia?
Yeah, 92.
Yeah.
So probably right around this time is when she's getting in there, but she's not a formative force that she is now. You look back on it and you're like, holy fuck, they got Kate Blanchett for like this
Yeah.
minor fucking role. Are you kidding me? Like that's crazy. You know, getting
Yeah,
She's
even
such
like
a good
what I would
Galadriel.
say is craziest about it is so attractive.
um
I did have a casting question for you, Jay, specifically. I already
here we
told Ryan what
Okay.
this was, but in honor of you guys doing King Kong soon, and I know your relationship to this actor is important from your
Mhm.
the holiday episode. If you had to put Jack Black
Mm-hmm.
in Lord of the Rings, where would you put him?
JB. Oh boy, oh boy. I th
this is why we bring her
that's
back
such
on,
a
folks.
that's such a hard question.
Such a great question. Good job, Sophia.
I
You're
mean,
welcome.
I think I make him Pippin or Mary. I think is what I do.
Oh, you make him a hobbit.
Oh.
I think I make him a hobbit.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Lighter,
You know what
airier.
you know what he
The
doesn't want to make
problem
him?
is he would do like a tree bear, ring a ding a dong dong, ring a
You,
ding a
I
dong
think
dong dong.
I'm imagining him as Gimli and how much you would hate
Oh my god.
that Gimli.
That's still on the couch as one. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it would be terrible. He would be
Yeah.
never trust an elf. Yeah. He is okay, so I have not seen Minecraft, and I will not see the Minecraft movie. But
Congratulations.
I have seen this the
Chicken jockey. That's a thing, right?
The chicken lava song or whatever that he's done, his newest latest earworm to annoy children. Um he is like really popular with kids,
He
like,
is
Yeah.
one of the more famous people on earth.
right?
Yeah.
Because of the whole
Yeah.
thing with the Super Mario Brothers movie and now this, like he is a box office name.
Kung Fu Panda, Jumanji,
Hmm.
all that stuff.
He's
But
a big deal. Yeah.
but you know what he did to his Tenacious D partner was bullshit, and I cannot stand that. So shame on you.
Seems like a nice guy.
Seems like a nice guy. Outside of that, you know,
Yeah.
with a pretty long standing relationship to just fuck over your friend, you know. But
Mhm.
you know, he's that movie made so much money. Holy
Minecraft?
shit! Yeah,
Well, we're doing
can't wait for the Fortnite movie to come out. You
what's
know
his
that's
name?
gonna
Is
happen.
this Jared Hess? Is that his name?
He's the Napoleon Dynamite guy, right?
Yeah, we're doing him next.
I kid you not. We were in the week and a
I
half
did
into that
not
movie.
come on for Napoleon Dynamite.
That movie came out. I found out the week after it was number one at the box office. I found out that he did it, and I was like, that guy still exists? Like, I did not know that he had sold his soul for a Minecraft movie. That was wild. Anyway,
Anyway.
Let's see. Did he do Nacho Libre? I feel
yes,
like
he did, sir.
Nacho Libre.
Yes, he did.
Mhm.
Guys, last thing I want to ask you in the vein of a Sophia question, which was great, Sophia, just wonderful job. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. Other forms. What's your form of choice for a potato? Or as Sam says, potato.
Favorite form factor of a potato?
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's a good question. It's probably a fry of some variety, but the question is which
or
fry.
a chip, as they would say across the
yeah.
pond. Sophia, are you a fan when you go across the pond for a fish and chip?
That was gonna be my answer actually, is that
But you like
I
the
went
thick,
to
like the
I went to
chips there?
this amazing pub in Chelsea for Sunday roast, and the roast potatoes were the best potatoes I've ever had in my entire life. They were so crispy on the outside, but like
Oh,
full, like I think they would take like a potato and just quarter it,
oh,
basically. And then, but it was like perfectly seasoned, which is kind of rare for British
I
cooking.
was gonna say that's a rare.
And very, yeah, crispy on the outside, but like very potatoy, not too crispy, crunchy.
Sophia, what are we looking at on the stage recently? What have you seen on the stage?
On the stage recently, I
Hmm.
saw,
She saw the
what was the last
Denzel.
thing I saw? I
So
saw the
Othello.
Denzel and Jake Gyllenhaal and Othello. I
Denzel still got
saw,
it?
of course,
Okay,
I saw
Cool.
Streetcar Named Desire
with Paul.
with Paul Mescal.
Mm.
My
She
next
acts.
one I want is I want to
Streetcar.
see Good Night and Good Luck with George Clooney. I
Man, the
saw
Heard of him?
yeah,
Picture of Dorian Gray,
friend of the
Sarah
pod.
Snook is doing as a one-woman show. I saw that in London when it was there before it transferred to Broadway, and it's really good.
I've heard that's really good.
Um, yeah.
Did you
And
this might have been too long ago. Do you ever see the Bradley Cooper Elephant Man?
I did.
You did?
Oh yeah.
I think that's
Please.
Are
just
you
the
kidding
funniest
me?
thing
She'd
I've ever
cross
heard.
oceans to see that
I
man in anything.
I didn't live in New York and I came here to see that.
What's your review?
It was I
Was it good?
I thought so, but again, I mean like totally under his spell at the time when I saw it.
At the time, still
Oh
of the time.
God.
That's still
Still,
your
I
that's
mean
still your guy.
still. But like that performance and that role was so important to him in becoming an actor. So,
Yeah. What if the Elephant Man was
yeah.
hot?
Have you guys
But
seen
he
the
does, he doesn't wear any prosthetics or anything in it.
I
Like
know. That's what
his
I'm
have you seen
saying.
the
He's
picture? Like
hot
the
Bradley Cooper,
yeah.
yeah. Have you
and
guys
he's the
seen
Elephant Man.
I
the
It's
was
so
in
new
funny.
college though. I was in college at the time. So it was probably like, yeah, 10,
That was a
a
while
little
ago.
more than 10
Yeah.
years ago.
he's
Yeah.
got he's got a new movie coming out or that he's making.
Is this thing on?
That
It might
thing
go to I read a thing that it might come to Telluride
when? This year?
this
Like
year.
it's ready?
Maybe.
Wait, he directed it?
He's directing and writing and he's just like he's gonna star in it, but it's gonna be like a cameo more than anything
What is
else.
it about?
Hmm.
Stand-up comedians.
Oh,
It's got
okay.
I don't even remember who is in it.
I
There's a
think Will
real
Arnett and Laura Dern,
yeah, it's a real
maybe.
hodgepodge cast.
Mm.
It sounds weird.
You know what I'm getting just stoked for?
Oh boy.
Hmm.
Marty Supreme. I think I'm a
Really?
Chalamet guy now, guys.
You were
Hmm.
selling that stock,
I know. I didn't even like the Dylan movie, but
but you just want him to win.
I like the Safdies.
Oh, well,
Uh,
yeah, I get
Well,
that.
you'll
I
find
mean,
out which
Josh,
Safdie
Tyler
is
the
your Safdie
Creator.
this year.
You're like you're big.
I'm thinking Josh is the mastermind.
Who would
That's
be
my.
who's going to be more insufferable on the Oscar train? Timothy Chalamet or The Rock? Because you know The
Hmm.
Rock's going to try to like
Mm.
recontextualize his
I think
entire
there's a
career.
chance the Rock movie stinks.
I think there's a good
Here's
possibility that Rock movie with Scorsese never makes the light of day.
yeah, with Emily
Well,
Blunt.
that's just the history of Scorsese.
Yeah, he has so many things going right now, and that's like way lower on my list of
Yeah,
what I want him to make. But
he
I
loves
think
being
that
attached.
Yeah,
thinking of Oscar campaigns for this year, I feel like Timmy, we've seen what he does in like the traditional Oscar role campaign, which
yeah.
is like he does his own thing totally. And like this, I feel like he'll do his own thing even more so because it's a Safdie movie and it's not him playing Bob Dylan. Whereas The Rock, I feel like this is going to be a very like by the book, textbook transformation, career
Take me
narrative,
serious. Yeah,
TIFF
Yeah,
premiere.
he's gonna have Blunt. He's gonna
Reclamation.
have Emily Blunt there with him, like hyping
Mhm.
him up because she's in the
Yeah.
film. She did the same thing with Killian. Like,
Yeah. I feel
if
like that's
yeah,
gonna be more all over, like that's gonna be everywhere. Whereas the
yeah.
Timmy one, I don't even know.
Because when
we don't even know if that's going to feel.
I don't think that one's
I'll tell you this.
Be an Oscar movie.
I'll tell you this about the Timmy one.
It's going to be too weird. It's got Tyler the Creator in it.
I'll tell you this about the Timmy one and why I think the SAG win that he had at SAG was might have been fraudulent. His co-star is the president of SAG. Fran Drescher is in Marty Supreme. So yes. I'm not saying conspiracy. I'm just saying Gwyneth is in that movie too. It seems like a very weird movie.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jay, you never answered.
Josh Safdie table tennis movie is going to get much Oscar play, but we'll see.
Comes out on Christmas.
Yeah.
Jay, you never answered the question. Favorite form of potato?
Oh boy. I mean,
I wasn't going to let you get it. I wasn't going to let you get out of here without.
It's a fry. It's a fry of some variety.
Which is your favorite kind? Well, what's the cut?
I don't know.
I was going to assume that
you like the little skinny guys.
I know what my answer is for fries.
I also love a waffle fry.
Yeah. I was going to say Chick-fil-A for you, Jay, because you live in Atlanta and you love their politics.
Yeah, mostly the latter.
Yeah, I was going to say the latter part. Sophia, it's
always 10 times out of 10 a McDonald's fry.
Yeah, that's the right
See, that's kind of what I'm thinking of when I say kind of like a skinny fry.
Yeah.
There's the one I'm thinking of.
Nothing better than McDonald's.
Well, those are like
a steak and shake fry. I love a steak and shake.
Oh, I love a steak and shake fry.
Yeah. That's kind of the one I'm thinking
ultra
of.
Skinny ones.
Yeah,
that's good stuff.
Yeah, we call that I'm not even gonna.
If I put fries aside, because who's not a fiend for a fry, right? Megan's been making a lot more roasts lately. And the potatoes, those are like the best thing about a roast outside of the wonderful meat.
So like a little boiled potato.
But I liked. It's stewing all day, and that's.
I love a boiled potato. Nothing wrong with it.
But I gotta tell you, there's something about like an au gratin potato that are just they're killer. They're killer good.
Such a classy guy.
But that's I am. I like my pinky up a little bit in here. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. Anything else you guys want to mention about Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers? You think we did a good job?
I think we knocked it out of the park.
You think we did? Okay.
I think this is the best.
I think it was as meandering and delightful as the movie. I hope.
Yeah.
I feel
the extended cut. I felt like.
Yeah.
I was on y'all's shoulders, the ends of the podcast. Just
gotta tell you,
listening to your fables.
When I'm on, it's always
tales.
the extended cut.
Can I tell you some other cool things that I love about the film real quick?
Yeah, I have a couple too.
The Ents, when they are taking apart Isengard, there is a shot. It's a wide shot of the water coming from the dam. Yes, of the river. Just all the water going inside is cool, but one tree specifically is on fire and dips its head into the water.
I love this. Yes.
The fucking detail of that is incredible. Just
love a miniature in general.
I have to bring this up. This is my biggest pet peeve of The Two Towers, and I always say this any podcast I'm on talking about this movie. It is the scene at Helm's Deep when Gandalf and them come down that steep incline. There's no way all those horses make it out. Some of those horses are going to buckle under and die. And that's how you know that this actually is a fantasy movie in general, because all those fucking horses, like at least 50 of them, would have buckled up in the front, and there would have just been a very anticlimactic ending.
It's like the stampede in Lion King.
Exactly. Like it's the one thing I see every time. I'm like, this is so emotional and so wonderful and cool, but there's no way this is actually practical in reality. But
whereas other than that, I feel like it's a pretty
straight. Yeah. I gotta say the Urukai running into the forest and the slow, like the 1 or 2 second delay that he has before the shaking start. Very good stuff. P-Jack inserting himself into Helm's Deep, throwing the spear.
Throwing a spear.
Gotta love that. just there's like 100 things from that battle that I could talk about.
Yeah.
The funniness of Bernard King going, "Is this all you can conjure up, Saruman?" And 5 seconds later, like being like, "Fuck!" They blew open the wall, and that's great. But then like has no business going to the front up there to and get stabbed. And it's so funny to me every time. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go fight these guys. I don't have a sword. Make way for the king. He's injured. Very funny stuff. Um, yeah, swamps are bad. We saw that in the first film. We saw that in this one.
Love a bog.
Love a bog. The sound work once again for the ring wraiths is incredible stuff.
Yeah, not much in this, but also ring wraiths, dementors, another thing.
Exactly, very much so. And I love that the last shots of Christopher Lee are pretty much the same thing over and over again, of him just like, how the fuck do I get out of this tower? Like, what the? There's so much water. Very flustered. And yeah, them smoking the weed at the end is pretty, or I mean, tobacco, but it's pretty much weed.
Oh, we should talk about the Gollum CGI. It's pretty good. It is. I will not ding the movie at all for it because it was
by the river.
It was 25 years ago.
By the river, when
they
like
didn't have figured out
him
was
closer.
The thing they didn't have figured out was the light hitting him.
Yeah,
that was the one thing I noticed. He's always very kind of smooth. The shadows don't really track.
But when he's at night, that's when he shines the best. If that makes sense.
That was the other thing about this movie.
I think so.
I was like, oh my God, the night scenes are so vivid and clear.
Yes.
What went wrong? Where did we go wrong?
Because like listen, I really like the film a lot, and this is no shade, but this is the problem again I had with even a movie that I really loved, like Sinners. Some of those night sequences, depending on your format, can't see shit, and I should be able to see things. And I get that it's dark, but it's like, come on, I want to
remember that in Sinners, but
I mean, right. I know that people in IMAX had problems
a little bit.
I know people had that with like certain IMAX prints and stuff, but there's just, it's okay to shine a little light at that during the night, make things, look good.
It's dark and rainy, and it's still
I think he looks
so good.
I think he looks incredible when he's like wet or sweaty. Like that again, the scene when has the
Gollum?
fish. Yeah, when he's like banging the fish.
Yeah.
And like,
and it's very
Frodo's trying to lure him. It's so good for 20 years.
Early stages of that stuff. But yes, during the day, that's when it kind of shows.
Yeah. When he's moving around.
It's dated. Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
For me, I'm not a huge action movie person, but Helm's Deep is a perfect action set piece for me. I really think it is. And I love the build up to it. It feels so moving. Like you get to see, I think, also how kingly Aragorn is in just how different his leadership is. Yeah, oh my God. But I just like all of the little details, like how it's raining. The rain feels earned. I like how when, we have so much score in this movie.
Oh my God, we haven't even mentioned Howard Shore.
Not as much choir in this one though.
No,
so
but
it didn't have me on my knees.
But I love how
Rohan's
there's an important
theme.
moment really before the battle starts where they cut the score. There isn't any score, and you just hear them marching in. It is this very, eerie
there are
thing.
a lot of choices in this movie.
Yeah,
lots of good choices.
Good choices.
Yeah,
I
think there's just so much going on, but I'm never really lost in it. I'm just hooked the entire time.
This much too noisy for me at certain points.
I love it.
Turn down your TV a little bit.
Yeah,
what are you gonna do?
The ladders, the magic bomb, all of it.
The magic bomb, the ropes where guys are climbing, the barricade in, the silliness of that. They breach the wall, and then the 5 people are still left out there fighting the 1,000 people that would break in. Like, it's so silly, and yet it works. I mean, it's great. I also love the one moment, and this just shows you about Aragorn as well, where Legolas is kind of pissed that they're about to probably give their lives to saving this very hopeless cause, right? And when Vigo goes, then I'll die as one of them. and you just feel that
Legolas
because
throws
they
on his
need,
rollerblades and
yeah, and
skates on out of there.
because he's freaking rules, Jay. He freaking rules. But it just shows that he's going to be a leader for whoever needs him, and that's just the selflessness.
Legolas probably would have worn Heelys.
Yeah, he would have.
Two little fun tidbits from my Tolkien obsessed coworker that I thought were very cool that I would have missed if I just watched this on my own.
Get him on the pod.
He would be good on the pod, actually. But so at the beginning, or well, what we see in Fellowship, where, at the very end with Gandalf, when he, is confronting the Balrog and he has that whole speech, what he's referencing there is it's pretty like pretty savvy as he's talking about like the different, the fire and everything. And that's all based on the legend of where the Balrog comes from and how he actually is basically saying to him, like, I know you, I know where you're from, I'm good and you're evil. This is the ultimate kind of good versus evil battle. And he's just saying to him directly that he knows exactly, the history of that character, which I think is really cool. I did not know that or what any of that meant when I was watching it. So I thought that was neat. And then the other piece is that the dead marshes, which I think are disgusting, but so cool. Like when you see all those like dead bodies floating there.
That's good stuff.
Based on his own experience in World War One. That was what he saw, out in the battlefields, and he brought that into the book.
I love the kind of cheesy looking, very kind of early Peter Jackson kind of ghost demons that rise from under the water. Yeah. I like that kind of schlocky look to him.
I love when, again, going back to when Theoden is possessed by Sauron.
He's looking rough.
I love the two times that I love the walking stick bit. But then
you wouldn't take an old man's walking stick.
But him taking the cloak off and revealing like heaven really right there and using that power against him, and just gotta tell you, props up to Saruman, building an army, working for Sauron, possessing a king of his kingdom. Guy's working overtime. Like, I don't think we're like really giving him enough credit.
He's the embodiment of industry.
Yeah,
if you think of it,
he's capitalism, baby. His tentacles are everywhere. Yeah. And
sort of the daddy Warbucks of Middle Earth.
But like the transition, honestly, for the time from him being a ghoul to back to his normal self, pretty cool. It reminded me a little bit of his early stuff. Reminded me of like the stuff of Sam Raimi, just of that era of that practical makeup, then using CGI to transform it just enough, to normalcy. And I know that face, like when he's back to himself. Oh, it's just a great character. Anyway, Jay.
Yeah.
How you doing, buddy? Good app so far?
Great app.
All right. It's always
streamlined.
It's always great when we have Sophia here, right?
I mean, I guess so.
Sometimes.
Before we get out of here, we're going to test your award season knowledge based on the film we just reviewed, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. In a segment we like to call It's an honor. Yes. It's an honor to get nominated. Jay, Lord, you did pretty well for Fellowship, buddy.
I mean, for that one, you kind of just name almost everything and you kind of get it.
How was Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers nominated for anything, buddy?
I'm confident it was, and I'm also confident it was nominated for significantly less. I know it absolutely cleans house with Return of the King.
We'll get to that.
With this one, I'm going to guess no picture, no director. I'm actually going to guess nothing above the line.
You're starting off rough.
Did it get picture?
It did.
Really? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So then it probably got director too.
It did not.
Oh. Is that the only above the line nom it got?
That is correct.
Okay. So picture, pretty big one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say it got sound, both of them.
Yes, it won Best Sound Editing. It was nominated for Best Sound, which was sound mixing at the time.
Yeah, they should have mixed it better. That was the first thing I thought about when the movie was over.
I'm sure you
was
did.
how much better the editing was than the mixing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say editing.
Yes, it was nominated for Best Film Editing.
I'm going to say it might not have even been eligible for score. I'm going to say no score.
That's correct.
I'm going to say production design.
Yes, which was Best
Art
direction.
Love the production design.
I'm going to say Stooms.
You're going to say Stooms? Will you be incorrect?
Stooms.
It didn't get Stooms?
No Stooms this go round.
That is absurd.
Yeah, I know.
What got costumes?
Well, I'll get to that. Are you done?
No, I think you got more than that.
There's a pretty big one that you haven't gotten.
A pretty big one
Right,
that
Sophia?
I haven't gotten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cinematography?
No.
Well, that's silly.
Think of the lasting legacy of Two Towers. And what would it be known for?
This movie come out in what year did this come out?
2002.
If you were just looking at this movie and you had to guess one Oscar nomination that it got, what would you pick? Because this is probably the one.
Jay.
I am baffled.
You want me to help you out and just let you know?
No, I need to figure this out on my own. Because apparently I'm missing something extraordinarily obvious.
It's very obvious. Okay,
If you
I'll help you out. I'll help you out, Jay.
One thing that it would have been.
If there's one character you think about from this movie, it's
special effects.
Thank you very much. It won Best Visual Effects, Jay, because of Gollum.
All right.
It won sound editing, visual effects.
Is that all?
That is it. That's 6 noms, 2 wins.
Child's play.
Significantly lower. A lot of people did not believe that this would even get in. It didn't get in at BAFTA. I don't think it even got in a Globe, if I'm not mistaken there, Sophia.
We need to start doing
I think-
BAFTA. I think that's what we need to do.
We will start doing BAFTA soon. But this is 2000 and this is 2002. The 2003 Oscars. This is the year of Chicago. This is the year of Gangs of New York.
I like Chicago. This movie's better than Chicago.
Gangs of New York, like I said. The Hours. Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers, and The Pianist. This is when everybody had Roman Polanski fever.
Never seen The Pianist.
Never seen The Pianist.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah,
you didn't try to catch up with it when Brody was on Oscar run number 2?
I might watch it before Kong.
Oh, for Brody.
I might try to watch it for Brody.
I mean, I'm a fan of his, obviously.
A little
but
bit different film.
He's pretty amazing in it.
I know it's supposed to be like. I think it's supposed to be like pretty chill and cool, right? Like,
yeah, it's got the same vibes as the movie we talked about today.
It is interesting though, if you like Roman Polanski's like apartment movies, like The Tenant or Rosemary's Baby, Repulsion, those types of movies, there's still some of that in this, even though it's a historical epic.
Yeah. Where are we?
Check
Jay,
it out.
have you seen The Hours?
Have not seen The Hours.
Oh,
Sophia?
I love
That's the one with the nose, right?
By a nose.
By a nose.
Yeah.
Damn Denzel.
He could have said it for Brody too.
Need to
He
watch
could have said it.
Um,
He should have, because
Yeah. My favorite nose. But The Hours is great. Meryl is amazing in The Hours.
she's
And
incredible.
should have been
She's the one that I thought
she probably would have been my winner from The Hours.
I would have. Yeah. I mean, wait, you would have in the category?
No, but like if I had to
Oh,
give
if you
someone
picked
in
somebody-
The Hours an
oh,
Oscar, it would be Meryl.
I think
Meryl's pretty
that
good.
Meryl's very good. She obviously had adaptation. That's why she gets,
Which
which
I
she's
also love her in.
incredible in
Great
adaptation.
film.
Yeah.
Chris Cooper, wonderful in adaptation.
CQ.
Not
win.
the person I would have given
Villain in The
win
Muppets.
to. There's 2 people I would have given that Oscar to, and not Cooper.
Richard Gere in Chicago.
No, he would have been in lead.
Oh.
He's a lead. He ran in lead, and that's where he
That's
was.
true.
That's ridiculous.
He is.
What are you talking about?
He ran as a lead all year. He won the Golden Globe lead male actor in a.
Because he's Richard Gere, but that
yes,
is
exactly,
absolutely absurd.
I'm just putting them where they would have gone. I'm just, Paul Newman in Road to Perdition is fantastic, and Christopher Walken in Catch Me If You Can is
I
incredible.
was so scared of Road to Perdition as
You
a
were
kid
scared.
because
You were
of
scared of that?
because
Oh,
of
because
Jude
Jude
Law's
Law?
long nails.
Oh my God, he's terrifying in that movie.
They look like Timmy's in Complete Unknown.
It's probably like
Mr. Napkin Head.
Yeah, Mr. Nat, tying it back to the holiday. There you go, Jay.
Yeah.
It's probably the only Mendes movie I go back to at all. Jay, thoughts on the Beatles movies that he's making?
Oh God, can't wait. Especially for them to come out in consecutive weeks. What a great business model.
Do you think Sam Mendes is going to bring up in those movies that they almost did Lord of the Rings?
That would be interesting.
That would
probably
be
in the Ringo one.
And that's how Paul gets to play Frodo.
There you go.
There you go.
It all comes back.
It all came back around. Damn, I'm good.
Who are the Beatles? It's Paul.
It's Paul
Harris
Mescal.
Dickinson.
Harris Dickinson is John Lennon. Paul is Paul McCartney. Joseph Quinn is George Harrison, and Barry Keoghan is Ringo. So we know which
movie. George Harrison one is going to be the worst for me.
I think we all know which one Sabrina Carpenter's not going to. So she's not going to the Ringo one. Or as Jay calls her, Nicolette Johnson.
Love her.
Get her on the pod.
That will always be funny.
That will always be funny to me.
She had the coffee song.
Coffee song.
Coffee song. I was putting that in my head for a second. I'm like, yeah, it's espresso. Adrian Brody won for The Pianist. Nicole Kidman won for The Hours. Chris Cooper adaptation. Catherine Zeta-Jones, or as potential Gandalf Sean Connery once said, Gauthron. And Pedro Almodovar won for screenplay, for original screenplay, for Talk to Her, and then The Pianist won adapted screenplay.
Talk to Her screenplay. That's a wild one.
That's a good. That's a good.
My Big Fat Greek Wedding was nominated. That's crazy.
That's a crazy lineup. That's Talk to Her, Far from Heaven. We talked about that during Far from Heaven, Jay. Gaines of New York, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and Y Tu Mamá También. It's a pretty good lineup. Would you guys nominate Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, in any other category? Would you put Peter Jackson in director?
Actor, probably.
Best director went to Jay's guy, Roman Polanski. Rob Marshall was nominated for Chicago.
Just purely, I like Chicago. I cannot abide it, with hindsight, Rob Marshall ever getting a Best Director nomination.
Martin Scorsese, Gaines in New York. Stephen Daldry, The Hours, and Pedro Almodovar for Talk to Her.
Man, they really liked Talk to Her. That's a weird one for them to have really liked.
Isn't it? Yeah.
I like that movie a lot.
I think it's like a little bit of like residuals off of All About My Mother.
All About My Mother.
That. Yeah.
Talk to Her is an insane
That's
movie.
an incredible movie for them to like go for.
Yeah.
It really is. But it's a wonderful film. Don't get me wrong.
Great film. Yeah. Normal.
I know that, everybody would say, well, get rid of Polanski, which it may or may not. I don't know. But actually, weirdly, like Daldry would be up on the chopping block. Marty might be up on the chopping block. Gaines of New York's not like the greatest, my
That's
favorite.
lower on my Marty list.
One of my lesser Martys for sure. Did Rob Marshall direct Jacob Tremblay as Flounder?
He did, buddy. You're bringing it all back. We're doing an excellent job connecting everything back to
Rob Marshall, one of our hacks. Just absolute.
Jay, would you do a Rob Marshall
hackaroni.
series? Would you do a Rob Marshall series, Jay?
Yeah, it would be like the end of Mishima when I would do the Rob Marshall series and then I would commit seppuku on the podcast. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Sophia? I would come on for 9 if you guys did Rob Marshall.
Oh, come on, Jay. It would be a pretty fun little series, to be fair. It would be kind of to see how somebody had promised and watch their career just spiral out of control. Daniel Day-Lewis.
No.
Penelope Cruz, who is Jay, one of your most important people?
She might be a Rushmore.
Who are in your Mount?
She should be a Rushmore.
Who is your Mount Rushmore, Jay? It's Amy Adams.
I was asked recently who my celebrity crush was, and I think
current. I think it's Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah, that was my answer.
Yeah. Sophia's it's Kevin Costner.
Probably.
And I'm not talking like Bull Durham, even though that's definitely on the I'm talking right now.
Divorce Costner.
She's like helping him on the weekends get Horizon money kind of Costner. That's what she's doing.
I will send you guys a screen grab of my dad's response when I sent him the news article of Kevin Costner looking for a new woman. It's great.
But Jay, your Mount Rushmore as she's looking that up.
I mean, this is impossible.
I think I know him.
Okay, hit me.
I think Rebecca Ferguson's up there. She's in the 4 spot. I think Penelope Cruz is up there.
I think she's definitely a possibility.
I think Amy Adams is up there and will always be there for you, buddy.
Just definitely up there.
And I think the girl from
not sure that she.
I think the bookshop girl from the
she's
Big
number
Sleep.
1. Oh, she's number 1.
Wait, who?
The bookshop girl from
the girl in the
Big
bookshop in the Big Sleep.
Oh,
she's the hottest person who's ever existed.
I know if I could go if without a doubt that character, that lady would be on that list 1000%. When we did that old show, I
could barely put a sentence together.
It was wild. I was like, behave, sir. It's yeah. I knew she'd be on the Mount Rushmore. Shout out to her. I gotta look her up. Do you remember what her name was, Jay?
Absolutely not. I think she has an Oscar nomination.
Sophia, are you looking her up right now?
I haven't seen The Big Sleep in a while, but I can't wait to figure this out.
Anyway, Sophia, read your dad's text while I look this up.
Oh no, it's just silly. But I sent him an article. It's from a while back, but it says Kevin Costner, 70, wants to meet someone after divorce. And I just sent it to him with no context. And he said, "Why did you send? He is 70." And I said, "He's a good 70." And he just said, "He has kids older than you."
Dorothy Malone.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look up Dorothy Malone as the Acme Bookshop proprietress. That is her literal name. It is.
Oh, she won an Academy Award.
Yes. She's an Oscar winner.
Yeah.
What'd she win for, Jay?
Oh, she's beautiful.
Written on the Wind.
Of course,
Those glasses,
Sophia. Of course, Sophia. She's beautiful. My boy's got taste. All right.
Mm-hmm.
My guy's got style.
I love Written on the Wind. Yeah.
That's a good
But
one.
also just that scene.
Douglas Sirk.
Wait, Jay, have you seen Written on the Wind?
No.
Oh man, you're done. You're done if you
like her as the bookshop girl, get ready for it.
I know what I'm doing after this.
Dorothy Malone. She's amazing in this movie. You need to watch it.
Shout out to Jay's wife, who
one
needs
of my
to be.
favorite.
It looks like she might be. Is she
winners.
blonde in Written on the Wind or brunette?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, blonde.
Blonde. All right. See, now we're going the wrong direction.
Yeah, you're more of a brunette.
I'm a brunette redhead kind of guy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Well, I just watched this anyway.
Yeah. Anybody want to take a stab for me? Important people? Okay. No? All right. Cool.
Mine are obvious too.
Yeah.
Blanchett is up there as well.
For you?
Yeah.
Ferguson's up there for me.
Also Laura Dern in
what, Wild at Heart?
Wild at Heart.
Yeah.
Possibly the best anyone's ever looked at a movie, in my opinion. She's blonde.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, she is. There you go. Just your one blonde cheat.
That's called jumping hurdles.
There you Okay. Well, Sophia, thank you so much for coming on this show. It's always
You're
a
welcome.
blast. It's always a wild ride. We've gone through just about everything.
Oh, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer, and honestly anything. She's one of the
Mother.
hottest. Yeah, she's in Mother, or she is Mother.
Both.
Okay, there you go. Thank you, Jay. He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
No.
Sophia, thank you so much for coming on and talking about Lord of the Rings. Honestly, I'm so happy that you turned around and love these films now. You know, it really is like the start of
Hmm.
my friendship with the both of them. They didn't really like have, love and care for these movies nearly as much as others, and now they are both taking the time to do this and getting in
Hmm.
their inner nerd here on this podcast. So, Sophia, can you tell everybody where they can find you and all your work on the internet, as well as also a
Maggie
recommendation?
Chung.
There you go. He's just gonna keep naming people tonight.
Just keep naming people. Your
Um,
Mount Rushmore can be big.
yeah, it's
Mm.
honestly, should we have a fifth person on Mount
Jennifer
Rushmore?
Connelly.
Oh, Jennifer Con. Oh, yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
She
Um,
looks so great in Top Gun Maverick.
she looks great in everything. She
Hmm.
is.
You know what? The first thing my brother, I saw that movie with my brother, and the first thing he said when we left the theater, he was like, Jennifer Connelly, what a smoke. I was like,
And Sophia, do you have a recommendation of the week as well too? We can give that as well.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. This was a lot of fun as always, talking about the movie and not talking about the movie. I
mhm.
was trying to think of
That's what
my
we
Mount
do.
Rushmore. I'm going to put it together for you guys. You can try to guess at another time, but I think my number one, like best a
Josh
man has
O'Connor.
ever looked is Paul Newman and Cool Hand Luke. That's like
Mm.
my ultimate, I would say.
Yeah.
Probably Newman and Redford, but
Newman,
the
Redford, Costner,
classics.
Josh O'Connor. Boom. There you go.
Oh, see, there's so many more though. It's so
Adrian
difficult.
Brody.
Yeah,
Um,
Adrian Brody. I
Jacob
know it's a weird
Elordi.
one, but it's been that way for a while. Jacob Elordi, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So many. Um,
Andrew Garfield, because he's just universal to all of us.
Andrew Garfield,
Mhm.
yes. He knows what he's doing.
Yes, he does.
Um,
And I approve of that
you
message.
can find
He's my
my work
Spider
at
Man, if you
Awards
know what I mean.
Watch. You can find my work at Awards Watch, other podcasts, reviews coming up, because we're headed to Cannes soon. When this
Yeah,
comes out, we might be there.
we will be there.
My recommendation of the week.
Sybil Shepherd.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Mhm.
Recommendation of the week. When I was flying back from the UK, I had a
Jay
lot of
Dua
time to
Lipa.
kill. Oh, yeah, Dua Lipa.
Yeah.
I
That.
watched Giant, the George Stevens movie, which is
Oh,
very long, but I just like get so sucked into epics with great actors.
is that
And
is that movie hated on? Do people not like that movie?
I don't really know. I was trying to think of that too, because
Isn't
I
there
think
like
it
a
has a pretty
reputation?
good, I think it has a pretty good reputation, but I mean, it's doing a lot. I would
Yeah.
actually be curious for your thoughts on it because it is a very Texas movie. It is
Mm,
like
I'll go
an
put it on.
ultimate Texas epic. But James Dean is
Yeah.
pretty amazing in it, I think.
It's James.
But yeah, that would be my recommendation. Check it
Who's
out.
the
If you
wife
like
in It's a
long,
Wonderful Life?
Oh my
Donna
God.
Reed,
Donna
Yeah,
Reed.
she's up there.
She's up there for you.
specifically in that movie too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
When she's a lonely librarian.
Well, that connects to your bookshop girl
I
thing.
know. I don't know. But yeah.
I don't know about that.
I don't
Mhm.
But anyway, yeah, you can find me at Awards Watch and um where I'm trying to take a Twitter break. So you can just find my work on Awards Watch. I'll
How
just
long
say
is that
that.
break gonna last?
My Twitter break?
Yeah.
We'll see. It's
Yeah.
going really well so far.
Okay. You enjoying it?
I am. It's
Yeah.
really nice. I feel very rejuvenated.
Anne Hathaway for me, by the way.
know. Oh yeah. Although
Anne Hathaway for
I'm
me
not.
too.
I'm not
Whatever
gonna.
she's
I'm
doing
not.
with her face.
I'm not gonna get into. Oh, that's what I'm not gonna get into it. But
Devil Wears Prada 2. Is that what you're talking about?
no, I'm talking about what Sophia was talking about, and it's not.
Oh, her face.
She didn't need to do it. What are we
Oh,
I
doing?
want to do that to my face.
what'd
I
she
want to go
do?
to whoever she's doing. It's just like so
Mm.
tight and
Oh,
perfect.
you
No,
don't
she's
need to
too
do
You
that.
doing
like
this?
no.
No, we've talked about this. You don't need to do
She's
that.
too pointy.
Mm. She's gonna be in that. She's gonna be in the Odyssey though.
I can't wait to see her in Verity, the Colleen Hoover adaptation with Josh Hartnett and Dakota Johnson. It will probably be terrible, but I can't wait.
What
Can I
was the
tell you?
movie she was in last year with the least charismatic actor in the biz right now? The Idea of You, is that what it's called?
Oh,
Oh, with
oh, Nicholas
Glazeltine or
She's
whatever.
Galaxy. Yeah.
unbelievable in it. So attractive.
Yeah.
I gotta say this: one of the most attractive people I've ever seen in person, Charlize Theron.
Oh, I don't doubt
Absolutely,
that.
just I will never forget her walking into the premiere of Long Shot at South by, and you guys know I don't like to. I mean, I'm never quiet, and I like literally shut the fuck up. And I looked at her. I was like, that might be one of the most beautiful people I've ever seen in my life, hands
Mm.
down.
Just no
Kyle Chandler for me.
bookshop girl.
Oh, Kyle Chandler. We're gonna be talking
King
about
Kong.
we're gonna be talking about him in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, buddy.
I need to rewatch this movie.
Yeah, you do.
Jack
It's
Black.
filled with important
It's
men.
filled
Yeah,
with
and
my
Jack
men.
Black.
Jack Black. Yeah.
Ring-a-ding-a-ding-ding.
Jay, same stuff.
Yeah, letterboxed. J Ledbetter, Twitter at Mr. J Ledbetter, where I never post. Writing that I may do. AwardsWatch.com. Recommendation. Saw Sinners. Loved it. Great. Just really like an intentional film that is so tuned into sort of traditional filmmaking while also interested in so much more than that. I think it will be satisfying if you watch it with your brain on or your brain off. And it has a whole lot to offer, just ideas wise, visually. Coogler's a talent. It was cool to see him make a real movie. So that was awesome. And now I guess he's making X-Files now. Like, just keep doing stuff like this. I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
He can do whatever he wants. He's
No,
pretty great.
keep doing stuff like this. He's made 2 real movies. Creed's a real movie.
Yeah.
Black Panther's kind of a real movie.
Yeah, but they're still within. I mean, that's what he talked about with the deadline thing. It's like he felt like he was still trying to make his movie within machines of other people's IP
Yeah, I
and
mean,
existence.
Creed was the one where I really was like, that is like
That shouldn't exist. It's as good as it.
that is a fully realized vision.
Yeah.
And it is also the stupidest idea for a movie that anyone has made in the last 5 years.
We talked about that on the retrospective
Yeah, I
episode.
know,
We were
I know.
like,
It's crazy.
this movie shouldn't be good, and it is. And I think the miracle of that movie is his direction. I think his confidence behind that camera, his vision on the page.
And I think he directs the hell out of Sinners.
Yes, sir.
Probably my second favorite movie of the year so far.
Yeah, it's my second favorite.
I think it's mine too.
We all
What's
have
your
the same number one. It's black bag.
Black bag.
Yeah, you gotta love that black bag.
You gotta put it in the black bag and not talk about it ever again. Which is it's the new Fight Club. It's just put it in the black bag. Never talk about it again.
Really says a lot about the year that we both have the same 1 and 2.
Well, that'll change.
We're thriving.
Monica Barbaro is somebody over the last year. I think she's beautiful.
She's really on the rise.
She's really on the rise. Same with Margaret Qualley, even though she's with Jack Antonoff. I don't understand that. That's a divorce waiting to happen in about 5 years. And who's the girl from Hitman? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh my God.
You know what I'm talking about?
She's stunning. Adria Arjona is her name.
Might be.
She's dating Jason Momoa now.
Yeah, I know. Might be my number one most important person.
Zoe Kravitz, also very, very attractive.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna
good taste.
listen. I will say this. I don't know if I'm attracted to her, but I just think Zendaya is one of the most beautiful people on the planet. And Tom Holland should be fucking thanking his fucking stars every day that she's.
Austin Butler's on my list.
Oh yeah, well,
I mean,
yeah.
Dodoy.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd at Ryan McQuade 77. You can find all of our work here at awardswatch.com. Yeah, I think we'll be, when this is released, in the middle of Cannes or post Cannes. So you can check out all the stuff that's going on the website. Sophia, myself, Eric, a bunch of other stuff will be coming from there. Main show Mondays, podcasts. If you like that, please go, just like on this one, iTunes, Spotify, 5-star reviews. Go to the website, sign up to the newsletter. It's the best place to get all of our stuff sent to you in one place. Recommendation of the week. I have seen a bunch of these episodes, so I can talk about it without actually spoiling anything. The Last of Us, season 2. I reviewed reviewed the season only on one episode because not by my choice, but just by what the screeners they gave us. And then saw a bunch of the episodes afterwards that they gave me. Season's
Most
great.
Recent episodes seem to have kind of taken over the internet.
Well, that's the thing. If you had played the games, and this is the thing about playing the games is like there is a pivotal point in game 2 that has played out. It is to the equivalent of a Red Wedding situation from Game of Thrones. And after that point, it makes the show and the game even better because there's stakes. And much like Why We Love Lord of the Rings, there's actual stakes to this stuff. It's not like a Marvel machine where it's just chairs and corporations and Comic-Cons. There's actual like real things going on. Story development, the characters are great. I think that they are doing a damn good job so far, and I still need to see the finale. But I think that they're going to be able to keep this momentum going for the final episode and the rest of the next season, and it's only 7 episodes, which is wonderful too. It's only 7 episodes for this season. I think it's another 7 for 7 or 8 next season. So short seasons, a lot of great television out there. Check out, I recommended The Pit before, but Last of Us, it's big event television, and I think we all love a good Sunday night HBO show. Mm-hmm. So go check it out, guys. Jay, I know you haven't watched it yet, right?
No. Shout out to the bookshop girl in The Big Sleep, though.
Sophia, you haven't caught up with
AKA Dorothy Malone.
Yeah. She has a fucking name. Sophia, I know you haven't seen it yet, but I know you will because I think
I will.
I think your dad's watching it.
Yes.
And so your dad watches that and every Apple show.
And every Apple show. Every single one.
Tell him that I started getting into slow horses. I'm sure he's going to lose his
he'll be very happy
fucking mind.
Feels like some real dad
yeah,
stuff.
it's a real
It's
dad
pretty
stuff.
good, though.
It's pretty good.
It's good.
Oldman's really good.
I watched half an episode of The Pit.
Yeah, couldn't get through the rest?
No, my wife watched all of it. Like, she mainlined it.
Oh, yeah, people like
me.
Did she love it?
And I sat down she loved it. And then I sat down for half an ep, and I was like, this is good. It's very graphic. And I liked it. I might circle back.
You know what's the great thing about The Pit is that anybody that's in my family that's in the medical field, they're like, this is so accurate. It's actually kind of scary.
Well, the one I saw was the one with the shooting. So it was just like,
you didn't
picked it up in the middle.
You just picked it up towards the end? What are you doing?
She was watching an episode.
Oh, you walked in while she was watching.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You need to watch it. But yeah, the medical field thing is true. Like, that was one of the things my mom was saying, 'cause she's a pharmacist. She's like, yeah, all the drugs are accurate that they're saying. All the dosages seem right.
My wife's a pharmacist. That's why she liked it.
My sister-in-law is a pharmacist. So
look at that. Drugs everywhere.
I will say one thing that does irk me about it's my one nitpick. Like, and Megan's like, they don't have time. I'm like, I get it, but like, put on different gloves when you're going from person to person. Like, it's like,
I thought they did that.
Not in like early episodes, they weren't doing that, and it was bugging me. But like, sanitize your hands when you leave the room and take off your gloves. Like, there was some stuff that was just like, it was, I'm not trying to like tell these doctors how to do their
there's
job.
some stuff in it that is absolutely ridiculous.
I know, but
there are these like these medical students who are going rogue, doing these extraordinarily complex surgeries.
Yeah. I know,
and then the guys are like, never do that again. Pretty cool though.
They've got some J energy. So thank you all so much for listening. We will be back next week. We will be talking about the Return of the King, and it'll be the end of Lord of the Rings, at least
Shout
for
out
a couple
to
weeks.
The bookshop girl in the Big Sleep.
Dorothy Malone. She has a name, Jay.
I'm talking about specifically the character in the Big Sleep. I don't know her name.
Oh, she doesn't.
I actually think she's unnamed. So
I think she is bookshop girl. So there you go.
There.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening. Thank you, Sophia, and we will see you all next time.